Anyway, ni hao. Who the
Hello.
told there was me now? How are you both? How are you both?
I'm doing good. I was sick last week, but I feel a lot better. Glad to be
Welcome
back.
back. Well, wait, I need to go get my drink. I only have water.
What kind
Let
of
me
drink
go
did
get
you
my
want
hat. I'll tell you in a minute. No, I'll tell you now. I got an amaretto sour, but I put it in my coffee mug.
to get? Amaretto sour. Those are good. How are you, Betty?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing good. I'm doing good. Um, I like your hair.
Thank you.
I like your earring.
Thanks. Like a whole bird.
It's
But I
giving.
don't think these are real feathers, but yeah.
Oh, it's definitely giving. How are you both? How have you been, Kay? You were sick last week. Anything else new? What's good?
Is there anything else new? I
No,
almost uploaded a video
not almost.
to my
Not.
YouTube, but I didn't do it. But you know what? I'm gonna do it soon. I will. You've been telling me to do it for like a year. I am going to do it very soon. So I've been really thinking hard about it these last few weeks.
Hmm.
So hopefully
Patty.
that will be coming soon.
Oh, I want it to come. Let me know when it comes. Patty, how are you? I see you upgraded the fashion.
I'm well. Everyone said Malaya won the competition, by the way, and they want to know what her prize is.
Ask Kay what her prize is. Ask
Because
Kay.
you are on video saying that you were going to provide the prize money for this
I don't
competition.
remember none of this. So I wasn't even here for it. So you and Petty better get to come through with this.
No way. Because remember, my suggestion was to take the super chat money, but then Petty said, absolutely not.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's that on that. Malia, you got 3 points. 3 points to do what? We don't know.
No, we had to figure something out. Does she have a
All right.
PO?
Well, Kay will figure something out and then come back and let y'all know.
What is your, do you have a PO box or something? I'll send her something.
All right. A period. Have y'all watched Mia Culpa?
Yes.
Petty.
No.
All right. Let's remove Petty for this segment real quick.
No, leave them. Leave them here. Did you
What are
like it?
your thoughts on Mia Culpa? Let's get into that.
You know, it took a long time to get to like the part where I was like, you know, it was good. I thought it was good,
You
but
thought what? You
I
thought
thought
what?
I thought it was good.
Good.
But
All
like,
right. Wait. No. 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 All right. Back up. Reverse. Reverse. What part of this you thought was good? You need to
at the
break this
end,
down.
no, at the end, I thought it was good because it finally like stuff started happening, and I was like, oh, for real, like I was like kind of surprised. But like
Oh,
the whole beginning, I was like, what's going on? This is taking a long time to get to like the point, and like the last 20 minutes or the last however long, I was like, okay. The
what?
acting, the acting wasn't very the acting wasn't giving what it could have given, in my opinion, for some of like the characters outside of Trevante and Kelly. But like I thought it got pretty good towards the last 20 minutes.
No, you're not answering the question. What was good about it? Explain what was good. Let me hear, because I have.
I wish there was a turn of events. And I thought it was going one direction and it went a different one. So I was like, okay, I see what he was doing.
Girl, let me show you. Let's see if I can do this.
You
Because
know, y'all didn't like the end at all. Like,
I wait, no, I recorded my review of it, but I'm not putting it out here. But because we have a movie night, I have to so I had to You can't hear it, but I'm dragging. I, I am dragging. Ain't nothing good about that show.
I thought the end was
There
good.
was all right. Let's do it then. Because
You
what
didn't
was
think anything. Now, for I don't want it to sound so for like a Tyler Perry movie, I'm not expecting like a certain level of um acting from all the characters, right? And I'm expecting like the script, is going to be a certain way. It kind of reminded me of the other movie that I thought was really good of his
so
was The
because the
Family.
bar is in hell. Because the bar is in hell.
No,
Like
no, no. It's just that was it my favorite movie? No. Am I going to probably ever watch it again? No. But for what it was, like I thought it was pretty good, especially towards the end.
so you figured out how the end connected with the rest of the movie?
Um, is that like rhetorical or
No, for real, for real. I literally don't know how the end connected with any of the movie. So all right,
wait,
you see, you're
what?
not going to give your review, so I'll give
No,
my
that is
review.
not. What do you mean? You have to
No,
tell
but
me
you're not
why.
like usually
How
if
did
I
it
say
connect?
something is good, if I say something is good, I'm going to explain to you why. So Dune is good. Dune, the movie, highlights how environment operate with people and our attempt to control the
Well,
environment
yeah,
fail.
no, there was definitely no deep like theme or
No, no,
anything
but
that was.
no, but what was good about like I have a reason for why something would be good, and
I
your
gave my
reason for
reason.
what? Huh?
I gave my reason. It was because like I thought it was going one direction, and then I was kind of surprised when it went a different direction.
What
And I think
direction did you
that's
think it was gonna go?
a I thought that she was I don't want to give like spoilers, but I thought she was gonna
No,
just
wait. Spoiler alert. We gonna spoil all of it.
no.
I've not seen Dune 2. I watched Dune 1, but I haven't seen Dune 2. But spoiler alert, please leave if you want it. There is no reason to leave. A Tyler Perry movie is a Tyler Perry movie. Like, ain't nobody got time. So if you don't want to be spoiled for some reason to go watch a Tyler Perry movie, I don't know what to tell you. It's going to get spoiled. The man didn't kill the woman, apparently, even though skull fractures and bones were in a painting. The woman isn't dead. So there. I don't care about spoiling a Tyler Perry movie. All right, go ahead.
So if I understand what happened in the movie correctly, because I'm thinking that the brother, set all this up so that he would look good for. I mean, I guess his wife cheated on him with that same man,
Mm-hmm.
and then he needed something to run his political campaign on, like some case or whatever. So he kind of set this guy up. You
How he set them up?
know,
No. No, for real. Like how did because they
what
all right, let
do
me
you mean?
explain what happened.
He went. He hired
Let me give you a
somebody.
brief summary of this degenerate plot. So, Kelly Rowland, whose name is Mia, she is a defense attorney, probably the worst defense attorney in the world. She does no kind of lawyering, but it doesn't matter. There is a guy named, I think the name is Zaire, but he's played by Trevante. He is on trial for murdering his girlfriend, and Kelly Rowland's character take on the case, even though the prosecutor is his brother-in-law. And the brother-in-law wants to prosecute Trevante's character and then use that as some kind of platform tough on crime to run for mayor of their city. Now, the issue is Trevante didn't actually kill the woman because he was set up by the prosecutor who decided to set him up because his wife, the prosecutor's wife, slept with Trevante. So they decided to set up this man who is a well known artist, and randomly Kelly Rowland took on the case, and now they have a show going on, a movie going on. None of this makes sense. Literally, none of it makes sense. How it got to Kelly's desk doesn't make sense. The fact that they decided, oh, you're a painter. And while you're a painter, one of your artwork has her skull fragments in the painting. and there was so much blood, and it was her blood that seeped from the top floor to the bottom floor. So this woman should be dead. Like, there is no possible way
But-
this woman isn't dead.
But I thought that this was that, like, they were in on it and he was being framed.
Yes,
Like,
but as the defense attorney, you are going to have independent DNA testing. At least they say Kelly Rowland's character is this big defense attorney, and she's just amazing. And you can tell that because they tell you every 2 seconds about how great she is. Yet she does not get independent DNA testing, so she doesn't know if it is their blood. She's sitting up there talking about, oh, do you want to get lethal injection? So I had to go look up what state they were in because I want to know if this is a capital crime. Did they find her body? How did this become a capital
See if
crime?
it's
What are you talking about? A
accurate.
lethal injection. Then randomly, Kelly Rowland, after the case, decides to go to the Dominican Republic or whatever, and she's at a random resort, and she sees the woman who's supposed to be dead. And she calls her brother-in-law to tell her brother-in-law the woman isn't dead. She's here. So Trevante is innocent. The brother-in-law
That's when it
says,
started
"Oh,
getting
come back."
good.
The
That's
brother-in-law is like, come back to my house. Mind you, none of these people like Kelly Rowland. We are introduced to Kelly with the most vile mother-in-law ever. This white lady with a bad wig talking about my son's next marriage is gonna be better and blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. Just know that none of them like her. They've shown her that they don't like her. They've engaged with her in ways that are disrespectful, in ways like no one would tolerate that kind of disrespect, because Tyler Perry does not know how to do nuance. Tyler Perry come from the stage, so everything has to be big and bombastic. There is no nuance. You know who are the bad people and you know who are the good people almost immediately, because he doesn't know how to write. It is what it is. Tyler Perry, you're rich. I respect you for having the ability to create an empire, but you created an empire on the backs of Black people, Black women in particular, who just want a very specific story to be told. And you are not getting, he's not trying to improve at all. Anywho, no, these people hate Kelly. They've told her they hate her. They tell her, leave our house, don't ever come back here. You cheated on our brother. I don't care about you. The first people she decided to call was them when she found out that the woman who is supposed to be dead is alive. And the brother-in-law who prosecuted the man he framed for killing this person and is going to use that as his political platform, you're going to call that same man and say, hey, he's alive, so shut down all your foolishness and like free that man. They decided to tell Kelly to just come over. Like,
And
come over. Fly
was
back from the DR and come over. Kelly does it.
right
Kelly
back
goes
there.
over. Kelly goes over there. The mother is like, oh my God, I am sick. I have cancer, chemo. Takes Kelly's phone, drops it on the floor, and then uses her knee. She fell on the phone with her knee to crack the phone to make it not use, like, break the phone with her knee, essentially. Never seen that happen before in my life. They make Kelly a drink. All of them are around the table, and they only make one drink. And they give it to Kelly, and everyone is like, drink up, Kelly, drink, drink. That's not suspicious at all. Everyone is telling you to drink, and no one else is drinking. Got it. So Kelly is there. It turns into this like Get Out kind of movie where they're trying to kill Kelly and Kelly beating them up. Kelly running out of the house. Kelly jumping in her husband's car. Kelly's husband getting killed because her car hit a truck. I don't know where this truck came from, but a whole lot of nothing. Just absolutely cheap tricks. The way Kelly found out that the family was a family of killer, is through her PI. I don't know how the PI, who is probably a magician, a psychic, like Miss Cleo, because we don't know how that PI figured out anything. We don't know how they got bones fractures and fractures of the lady in the painting and her blood all over the place. We don't know how any of this is resolved. Tyler Perry just decided that it's done. And you're not about to convince me Tyler Perry didn't just sit there got an alarm on his phone that he needed to turn in a project to Netflix 2 days, and just sat there and wrote it in 2 days. That's
Too
what
bad.
there is there is nothing about this was good, nothing about it was interesting, nothing about it was thoughtful. The husband lost his job as an anesthesiologist because he kept using his own supply. What kind of drug was he using to put these people to sleep? If you're using the same drug, anywho, it doesn't actually matter. So he lost his job, and Kelly's the only one paying all the bills as an attorney. And Kelly's lying to this man's family that he has a job. But this is a family of killer. How are you, the brother, the husband, deciding, oh, I am not going to tell my family that I lost my job, even though my family is a bunch of killers and they're trying to set up a man to put them on to send this man to prison? Like, at what point do you decide my family can't know that I lost my job because I will be a disgrace to my family, but they're killers essentially, and they're willing to frame an innocent man, but they're too good for me to tell them that I lost my job? And how terrible must it be that you can find another job as a doctor? Also, is your license suspended? Why are you unable to find a job? Kelly's getting up to go to work and you're playing games. Kelly's getting up and going to work and you're laying in bed. Kelly's getting up to going to work and you're connecting with other people. There's only one thing. There's one thing in that entire movie that was good. One.
What?
And that one thing was that the painting scene. The painting scene was good. That is it. I'm not going to describe what the painting scene is.
Oh.
That painting scene was good. I don't care. I don't care what anyone tells you. That was a good scene.
I'm over here like the one where I'm like the one where he had her painting the waves, but you're talking about the other one. Okay. That was good. I definitely, I didn't expect it to be like, a movie where I'm like, oh my goodness, this was amazing. It should be nominated, for an award. But like I said, like it had a little twist at the end, and I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that was going to happen. So that brought me joy.
What twist? There was no twist. Tyler Perry just made up something at the end. Like, for there to be a twist at the end, you should how twists are general. So in storytelling, there should be some sort of breadcrumbing, and maybe we miss it because it's like an Easter egg kind of thing. And then when there is a reveal, you're like, oh, that's why. No, Tyler Perry just made up an ending. Tyler Perry don't care about a foreshadowing. He don't care about a plot. He does not care about a character development. He doesn't care about a character arc. Like literally, every one of the characters started and ended in the same exact place. They're the same people in the beginning and in the end. We only know, oh, this one was a killer and this one was a killer, but nothing changed about them. Nothing fundamentally changed. There was no moral of the story. There was no reason for the story to exist. There was no interesting point in the story. The only good thing was that painting scene and the fact that Black people's skin looked actually good for the first time in some of these shows. Like it literally, this did nothing. Like, let me do a poll. Someone said I should do a poll.
That's why I said the beginning, like it took a long time. I was like, okay, for like I was like, this is basically a movie that is highlighting Kelly and Trayvante's beauty, like for the first like hour and a half, how long was the movie? But then at the
2
end,
hours. 2 hours. It felt like 5 days.
The first hour and 40 minutes was just like, ooh, he's cute. Ooh, she's pretty. Like that was the whole thing. And then at the end, it was like, some stuff started happening. And I thought that it was going to go a different direction because I thought it was going to have more to do with that Jenna or whatever, the girl that the husband was playing video games with, the one that the mom liked. I thought it was going to have more to do with that, like him having an affair and her finding out. So now she's going to do this. And then the man, like I had a whole vision, which probably would have made for a better movie. Like the vision that I had would have probably been more coherent in terms of like a movie. But at the end, I was like, okay, Tyler Perry, this is okay. It wasn't amazing.
Let me go on Rotten Tomato.
It
Let's
wasn't
pull up
amazing.
Rotten Tomato. Let's see if thus far 93% of the vote said absolutely not. This was the most disgusting thing they've ever seen. So that's good. At least the audience they know. New DNA test Pierre that doesn't give verified info. Crazy white woman, white mom that never got slapped. That movie was his initials being TP is. It was bad. It was so bad. Like, let's go through this.
I
Oh
saw
my
a comment
God.
pop up about like Lifetime movie. Yes, it reminded me of a Lifetime movie. Like, those movies aren't, oh my goodness, they're so good, but you watch them.
It is at a 21% good. It should be less, actually. It should be less.
What do people say?
Just, all right. So this is the mom, and Tyler Perry really wants you to hate her because she's introduced, right? Like she comes on the screen and she does not like Kelly, and she invited this other girl to their dinner or lunch or whatever it was. And she's like, Kelly, you go to the end away from me. And this girl that I want my son to marry, and I wanted my son to marry, I want her to sit next to me and my son to sit next to this girl. Kelly does it. And down there mumbling, crying about some, oh, she don't like me. I this is so bad. Girl, we don't care. If you're just gonna sit there and take abuse from this woman, then do it. And they want to hide it by saying, oh, she has cancer, so that's why. No, the husband is useless, the mother is useless, and the brother is useless. None of these people seem like they know how to act. And I know that's not true because this man at the end is a good actor. Trevante is a good actor. And Kelly Rowland, I don't know what Kelly Rowland does, but none of them that there is no emotion, everything was flat, they are absolutely useless, and I don't know for the life of me how anyone could greenlit this and say this is the finished product, like we are good. And we know this is something that I noticed because I'm very into like no now I have like my wireless mic. wait wait see my wireless go mic and I'm trying to do my videos. I know when they do a post, um, after they do a film, they go back in and then re-record the voices. They did that a lot in this movie, and I don't know why they did it. Outside of they could not get the environment done well enough for the mic to use in the film for them to work. And that's not usually a problem, except these people don't seem to be voice actors. So the emotion they're giving in the scene physically is very different than the emotion you hear in their voice. And I don't know if I'm just like specifically like aware of voices in this way, but like it annoyed me the entire time. None of Trevante's delivery felt right. All of it felt like flat. Like all of it just monotone and useless. Um Kelly, girl, I don't know why you took on this. You know what? Let me I don't know why she took on this film. She was like, oh my God, everyone keeps asking me about Beyonce. Everyone keeps asking me about Beyonce. She should be grateful that they're asking her about Beyonce instead of this film. Because honestly, if you really want to go there, Kelly, and you sat in front of me, I'm going to ask you why you chose this film. Because this don't make no sense. Everyone has been playing around with these people, these actors, and they're like, oh my God, why did you choose it? Did you like it? No, ask a meaningful question. What is this? And why did you do it? Were you desperate? Did you not have money? Do you not have a job? Like, ask them the real question because there is no reason that a seasoned actor such as Trevante should be in this film. Like, there is none. You should have read that script and say, absolutely not, Tyler Perry, you go somewhere with this foolishness.
I didn't also, I mean, maybe you can tell me, why was it called Mea Culpa? Like, I didn't get how that, like, usually the title, like, I don't know, but and then her name being Mia, like I thought it was going in such a different direction from the beginning, I guess, even with just the name of it, and then like I said earlier, the affair that he had or she thought he was having, or all that. But again, like with Tyler Perry movies, I don't think people expect like a certain level of, I don't know, for what it was. I've never been like, ooh, I'm gonna go check out this Tyler Perry movie and this is gonna be the next, I don't know, Forrest Gump or Titanic or Color
So
Purple,
Culpa
whatever.
was not her last name, obviously. I assumed that culpa in Spanish is like fault or
Yeah, it means
guilt.
my fault, but like, why would that be the name of that
Girl,
movie?
I don't know. Ask Tyler Perry. I assumed that's what he was trying to do. This was straight to Tubi. I feel like this is when I was younger, I wanted to read those like I don't want to do this. Never mind. There's a very specific genre of book that this reminds me of.
Oh yeah, I think I know the genre.
It's a very specific genre,
I know
and they
exactly
would
the genre.
all of
And
them books annoyed me. All of them annoyed me.
I think just for what it was, the last, like I said, 20 minutes were pretty good. I just didn't have high expectations, I guess. It's very it was like a
But is that how you market? Do you market based on like your expectation? Because like I'm
yeah.
trying to find like an objective standard by which to measure this,
Oh,
and like I feel like
objectively,
we
no.
give I think we give Tyler Perry a pass because he hires black actors. So he gives black people a job and he has his own. But it's like, it's one thing to be like, oh, here is a job, but like, do you care for this project? And like, because you know people are going to watch it, do you feel like there is like it feels like they like for me, if I know some people, regardless of what I put out, people are going to consume it and people are going to purchase it. I'm going to feel like I owe it to those people who respect me enough and care for my work enough to like do some work, like to make it good. And it just feels like because he doesn't care about critique in this way, he doesn't have to care about the art and he doesn't have to care about the movie that he's making. And while you do give people an opportunity, it feels like this opportunity comes with like a scarlet letter, like, oh, you were in a Tyler Perry movie, ew. Because like there is no thought and there's no directing and there's no real emotion behind the acting and there's no real plot and there's no real thoughtfulness in any aspect of it outside of I think he's very particular about choosing beautiful people. The people are beautiful. I give him that, but that's where it ends.
That was literally the first, like I said, like 90% of the movie was just like, oh, look at these people. Um, I don't know. Patty,
It
do you
shouldn't
think
even be low budget either because like Moonlight, Tyler Perry is rich. Like this is not like some eh, this is what I don't like. People giving him a pass, but he's a multi-billionaire with his own studio. He could literally make masterpiece. When we talk about black art, he could actually engage in that kind of work.
but I think his vibe is to be like that. Like I think like that, what's the word? Campy? I don't know. But
It
I
feels
think like
campy, but I think he takes himself serious. Like when they're on the promo, they're like talking about this as if it's like a really good movie. And I'm very confused because the movie they're talking about is not the movie I watch. And if they were like, yeah, we just wanted to have some fun with Netflix, blah, 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 we just threw this together. I'm like, okay, cool. You gonna disrespect my time. I'm not about to watch your movie. But I could understand that. They're like, yes, it's about a woman discovering herself and fighting for truth and really getting into her womanhood. I'm like, girl, none of that was there. None of that was
no,
there.
no, definitely not. It wasn't a movie you're gonna take anything away from and be like thinking about it later on or anything like that. I think his vibe is to be like campy like that. I think that's like because I've never seen a Tyler Perry movie that didn't have that same like underlying
Yeah,
vibe.
thrillers. Like I feel like that when he's branching out in movie, because like I understood the Medeas, right? The Medea go to prison, the Medea do this, the Medea do that. I enjoy those for what they were. Now he's making movies, and it feels like he wants to be taken as a serious. It feels like Tyler Perry want to be taken seriously as like a screenwriter, and the way he the way he writes and the way he creates art in this way, it feels like it should be on someone's stage. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
that because I know where he's from and his background, but like there is no subtlety. Like he does not
Yeah.
understand subtle at all. The first time you see that white lady, she's talking mess. And it's like, we know we're supposed to hate her, but can you give her something redeeming? Can you make, like, you don't just make an evil person be like the main character, the main purpose of this person is to be evil. We don't care about a background. We don't even Maya, whatever her name is. We know nothing about her. She's a lawyer. That's it. And the movie is happening to her, mind you. She's not solving anything. She's not doing anything. The one time we see this woman work is when she sat down and had a bunch of papers sprawled all over her desk. And like she's not even engaging with the material at all. She at no point does she engage in any legal language. At no point do we see her in court. At no point does it feel like she understands anything about the law. She's just giving face and body and suits, and I'm here for it, but she does nothing with this at all. Like Tyler Perry decided that he's not going to hire an attorney to come and tell him what this kind of case would look like, how it would play out. In fact, Kelly Rowland does not have a theory of the case. At no point do they come up with a defense. There is no defense, by the way. And that's probably why the man went to prison. That's probably why the man went to prison. At no point do they come up with a theory for their defense at all. At all. All we saw Kelly do is be bossed around by her client, drag. The client was like, I'm not coming to your office. You have to come to my home, and you have to come to my home after dark because we're going to sleep together. And Kelly's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, oh, okay. So you don't even care about your bar. You don't care about your license. Got it. Got it. That makes a lot of sense. Tyler Perry did not talk to any lawyer at all.
And then
Oh,
the fake, like when the PI sent that picture and she was just like, okay, that's all the information I need. And then, like the next day they found out, she's like, what room were you in? Like it was campy. It was like, I didn't even think it was supposed to be a serious thriller, suspenseful type of movie. It was campy.
don't do Tubi team if they got hits. I ain't never seen a hit on Tubi, but I don't watch Tubi. Anywho, Petty, any thoughts? We know you haven't watched, but we just wanted to make sure you feel like you were included in the conversation.
No thoughts.
All right.
Do you think Tyler Perry aims to make serious movies? Because I don't.
I hope he doesn't.
Do you think so, Petty? Like, I don't think so.
I don't watch his stuff, so I don't know what it looks like.
You never saw any of them?
I saw Medea like 20 years ago or something.
All right. So now that Tyler Perry is out of the way, I won't post my review because I did come home and record a review, and I was like, I'm not posting that. Should women have to pay for equality? Can someone answer that before we get into this video?
What do you mean?
Interpret it however you want and answer it.
No, I don't think you should. No. No.
Is there no way you can envision the word pay and decide that the women would have to pay for equality?
No, because when it's specifically like women, no.
Petty?
No.
I'll say yes.
How? Explain it.
Uh, Progress usually costs sacrifice, so women would be included in that probably.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but can you clarify? It feels like you're like being cut and dry.
Yeah, I wouldn't specify it to women, but that wasn't the question. So I would
Do
say,
you think women are equal?
hmm,
Do you think women are equal currently?
in what way? Like height? No.
Generally, because you said it's not specific to women, which is if you want something, you will have to engage to get it, and in that way, you're paying for it. But you don't want to say women, in terms of their gender, should have to pay for equality. But I don't know why, so I'm asking you again, and I'm asking you to clarify.
Yeah, I would say they're equal.
You would say who is equal?
Um, Men, women, non-binary, they, them's, everybody. We're all equals generally.
So you think everyone is equal now in today's society,
Yeah, sure.
and they're treated as such?
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's do treated. If are women treated equally in society?
No,
All right. If they want to be treated equally, will they have to pay to be treated equally?
probably.
Explain.
I think progress requires sacrifice, so it's difficult for me to specify it to something specific, but I think that's a general belief I have.
Wait, now can you wait? You have to be able to give me an example. What do you mean?
I don't know. I can't think of a specific at the moment. I would have to let it simmer.
Themis, do you mean will they have to pay if like
Financially, like
the
here's
situation?
$50. Have I earned my equality now, or what do you mean by pay?
No, I want y'all to define pay. It doesn't have to be financial, but I'm trying to figure out what y'all thoughts are because we're about to watch a video, but like I haven't heard like I haven't heard like a kind of thoughtfulness around pay. Case makes sense in that it's simple. Where she said no, they don't have to pay. I actually disagree with that. But pet is
No, but wait, is it should they have to pay or will they have to pay?
both. You can answer separately. It's will they have to pay, but also should.
I think women will have to pay, but I don't think they should have to pay.
What's the difference?
I think that if you want equity and equality, like Petty said, like certain things are going to be sacrificed or you're going to be treated a certain way in, a different situation that might not be equitable if you're looking for equality. But I don't think people should have to pay to be treated in a way that's fair.
I think I would agree with Kay for the most part.
So why is should a problem for you, Kay?
Because I think that people just by default should be treated fairly. As long as there's nothing, well, if there was something, then that would be a different story. But yeah, I think like by default, people should be treated fairly.
Wait, what do you mean fairly? Do
Equitably.
you think they should be treated the same?
No.
So what is fair then?
Equitably.
What is equitably?
Making sure that depending on the situation, that certain things are taken into consideration. Like I think about, excuse me, I think about like in a classroom, every single student is not necessarily going to be treated exactly the same, but they're all going to be treated fairly and equitably. But different people just have different needs. Different people have different.
Yeah, but how do you choose how to treat people? What animates the choice in how you treat someone if it's not based on what they are making you treat, how they are making you treat them, which is the pay bit?
I think accommodations should be provided when they're needed.
And who decides the accommodation? The society or the individual?
Decides what the accommodation is, you mean? I think currently
Should.
who should decide? I don't know. I think that's like a complicated question. I mean,
Alright.
it would have to depend on the situation, and if it's different if you're talking about like one to one, like a person to another person, versus like a rule for society in general.
So if the cost is too great, do we not engage? Like, should we not make accommodation? How do we weigh what is the accommodation needed?
I think that whatever causes like the least harm and the least amount of problems should be the one you go with.
All right.
I think we talked about something similar.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out, because you said they shouldn't have to pay. And so equitable treatment should be equitable. And equity is what we are seeking for. And we should treat people as equals or equitable by virtue of them being people without them having to pay for it. And I'm not sure I understand the framework we're trying to create now.
When you don't understand, what way are you looking at?
Oh no, I'm not. I don't want to give up my theory yet. You can ask me, but like, I'm trying to understand yours and Petty's first. So, are you saying, Petty, that they shouldn't have to pay, but that they will? So, would you be in agreement with Kay?
Yeah, I think I would agree with Kay.
All right, explain.
I'm thinking maybe Roe v. Wade, for example, since I'm pretty sure I'm not sure if the anniversary of that being overturned was recent, but we've seen what happens when people just do nothing. So unfortunately, it's going to cost something, whether that's activism or lobbying for certain candidates for office or whatever have you. Otherwise,
it will have to, but should they? Let's do the should part. Sorry.
No, I don't think they should have to.
Why?
Generally, if I'm thinking about a group that we consider marginalized, I think it would be up to the people who aren't marginalized to do the bulk, if not all of that lifting. Ideally, people who have
no. It would mean they have to do all of it if you don't think they should.
All of it.
So you think for liberation, when it comes to a minority group, the majority group should do all the lifting and the minority group shouldn't do any lifting?
Minority or privilege? Minority.
Privilege. You can say the privilege versus
I would say the privilege generally I would expect to do all. I would want to do all. I wouldn't expect them to do all, but
in wanting them to do all, that includes defining what good means for the other group. Because the moment you start demanding anything, you are putting in work. You're paying something.
Okay, well, it would be impossible then, unless...
Okay, that's kind of where I am. So the question then is, should they have to pay? If you think it's impossible, then should they? And if you still think no, then explain it.
I mean, I think no, but if it's an impossibility, then
I get what you're saying, Patty.
How do I explain that further?
It's like, okay, it can be explained based like what you just said. Sorry, what you just said, Themis. Putting in work, that's like a form of payment. Like these are things that have to happen if a certain result is desired in our current world. But like when I answered, I was thinking more of like a utopia, like perfect situation. They should not have to. Like things just should be, the way they should be without like anyone having to pay for it. But
you see, I'm glad you said romanticize, because that seems like euphoric in like the most fantastical way possible.
Yeah, like in a perfect world, in a utopia.
Yeah. But so in this world, should they have to? And the question remains, is you're making a judgment on the responsibility of people. And the question again is, should they have to?
They will have to, and they should be ready for that.
But should they have to?
But you don't want me to say in a perfect world. How can
No, no,
I
no.
answer?
I'm saying it should. All right, let's do it. Let's be specific. Should Black people have to do work to gain equality? Should women? Because it was women, but it feels like we don't. No, let's stay with women, and then we'll go to Black people. Should women have to do work to get equality?
See, this is the thing, because the answer is still going to be the same, because when you ask should something happen, I think for me at least, I answer it based on the most perfect situation. Like, what should happen is the best situation possible, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
So
Now,
you want the best situation possible for women, but you don't think they should have to help create that best situation. So that would mean
no,
men would.
it's not. See, it's hard to answer. I get where the disconnect here is. But the reason that my answer keeps being the same of no is because if the question is should they, the answer is going to be no, because in a perfect world, people shouldn't even have to worry about that. But I get what you're saying, like we're not in a perfect world, so these certain things are going to happen. So in that situation, should they? And it's like I don't have to even answer that because they're going to. Like it's not even a question of should they.
No, but do you want them to? And if you don't want them to, why? Because I'm trying to figure out what you guys consider labor and pay. I don't believe it is possible, one, but I don't think people who want something should not engage in getting that thing. So that would be something being handed to you as opposed to um, even the bare minimum of defining that which you want is labor. So you should be able to at least articulate that which you want. Therefore, you should be engaged in your own liberation in the word in terms of should. So instead of putting that on y'all, can you guys can then push back on me for that?
Okay, so do you think, Themis, that the default, like the baseline level in society, should be fair and equitable, or do you think it should be like people have to start wherever they are and work to get to fair and equitable?
I mean, I think it should be fair and equitable. Yeah, I think it should be fair.
Okay, so if you think that it should be fair by default, and so it sounds like
No, we don't agree because fairness is not an objective reality that exists. Fairness is going to be super subjective based on the person presenting their idea of fairness. And even if it is fair, fear to whom, and who gets to define what is a quote unquote fear outcome in terms of interaction. So even to agree that it's fear doesn't actually move the needle in any
because of the
direction.
level of subjectivity.
Subjectivity, yeah.
Hmm.
So, should they have to fundamentally ask the question of how involved should the people you are trying to liberate be in their own liberation? If you say they shouldn't have to, that is akin to moving into a small village and deciding how to improve the village
I
for
think
them.
they should do it, but they shouldn't have to.
That they should, but you should have to. Like, because if you were
It
saying the
should
other
already
people.
it should already be taken care of. Like people should already be getting treated fairly.
You
But since
keep
they
using
aren't,
fairly, but fairly wouldn't be the same for everyone. So, like, to expect people to know what fairness and goodness is subjectively to the group they're trying to help is too high an ask. You have to be able to explain what it is that you want, and therefore, you should have to be invested in your own liberation. You
yeah, because
should,
that in itself is the work.
yeah,
Like at least at the bare minimum, that is the work that
yeah.
you would be putting in.
At bare minimum. I mean, I in my mind it would be
Yeah.
higher, but
Yeah.
like at floor, your investment should be um work. You should be invested in it.
Um Yeah, I definitely think people should be, but still shouldn't have to. But you should, because you want a certain outcome, and the world is not
What
perfect.
does shouldn't have to mean to you now?
Because, like I said before, like
No, what do you mean when you say shouldn't have to? What does that mean to you? Like not even the
okay,
specific, but
I
the
can give an
concept.
analogy. I can give an analogy. I should absolutely lock my car door or whatever as soon as I get in. I should do that to be safe. Like if I'm out at night by myself, make sure I get in my car, lock the door, then go wherever I need to go. I should do that because we know what kind of world we live in.
Hmm.
I shouldn't have to, because there shouldn't be creeps and whatevers all over the place. But there are. So I should do that.
Yes, but you shouldn't have to. I
But I shouldn't
agree.
have to, because that
I,
shouldn't even be a thing. But it is. So I should do it.
I agree with that statement in the specific scenario about your car and even your home, and it would
Yeah.
apply to a lot of other
Yeah.
things, right? That you shouldn't have to implies something about the world, right? And it means that you are not, it means that we believe that the world as it is flawed
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, right? I actually agree with this statement. The problem is we can't like, I mean, obviously we can say the world is flawed because we're going to map it out from some perception of what perfect would be, right?
Mhm.
And because it doesn't meet that, then we say it is now flawed. The question though is when it comes to what you want out of life, that you shouldn't have to do it. Like that you shouldn't have to means that it should be bestowed on you, right? And it's very external to you. So the human condition would be thus: I should get what I want and I should be treated this way, but I shouldn't have to engage in any meaningful behavior to get the kind of treatment I want or to get the kind of result I want.
See,
And
but see, that's different. When you're saying it like that, I think of, while you were just saying that, I just had like two totally different things running in my mind. So one of them was, um, I think people should have access to food, right? Like everyone should have food. There should be no one that is starving.
true.
Now there are
Wait,
people.
pause. Should that food be equal to
Wait,
anyone, or can they get the
that's what
crumbs?
I'm about to bring up. That
Right.
is literally like, see, we're on the same. I knew you knew where I was going with it. So like, everyone should have access to food. Now, if you want maybe a different type of food, or want to, I don't know, work harder, make more money to get like a different type of thing, okay, then yeah, you should have to do that. But at baseline, people should have access to food.
All right. But the kind of food you get access to will be predicated on how you engage. So if
Yeah,
you
but
want,
everyone should have access to food that is, healthy, that they
okay,
can
but do you
access,
see
all of
how
that.
that would make you the person who define what is the bare minimum for everyone? Because like instead of having everyone work for what they want, you are saying this is the floor, right? And if this is the floor, you don't have to engage, just accept the floor. But how do you know that's fair to the person? Like,
Because their need of having a certain amount of calories a day is being met. That's
it,
like a biological thing.
no, no, no. Wait, sorry, go ahead. I didn't hear what you just
That's
said.
like like you need a certain amount of calories to like function
All right.
properly. So
So then
if
you would
that's
do the
met,
amount of calories each person need, and you would give them that kind of calorie. Like each
yeah.
person would be individualized to the amount of calorie as opposed to being standardized and saying
Yeah,
everyone
like
gets
maybe it's like a range, like there are certain, let's say a group of people might all eat around. I'm not saying you have to go to each and every single person. Like, do you need 2001
no,
calories
but
or
let's do that. No, no, no. Let's do that. If we're defining it that way, we would have to go and make it individualized, right?
okay. And then there could be ranges. Yeah.
Okay, so it changes if you want to like work out, for example, you would then change the amount. Like it's not set. So like you would change it for that person.
If somebody wants to, so it should be if we're talking about food in an ideal scenario, it should be so that a person has access to food to lead an active lifestyle, since having an active lifestyle can have health benefits, and people should have access to be able to do all of that.
So you would max out the food for the person and not just based on what they need currently.
What they need to live a an active, healthy life. Not saying everybody that's active is healthy, but I'm just saying like that.
So it would change again from person to person.
Yeah, just in general, like little kids and I don't know, people that are in their 20s or 30s might not have the same caloric
Again,
needs, or they won't have the same caloric needs.
all right. And so when it comes to, I did that because I wanted to fully understand what you're saying. And so you're saying women, if they want equality, they should just have equality without having to work for that equality. Who defines what equality means? Who should? Because you're saying they shouldn't have to. Who should?
Equal opportunity, equal access to opportunities.
Yeah, no, it's equity. So I think hopefully everyone understands.
We
But
shouldn't be able to say, "Oh, because you're a man, Themis, you should have a,
yeah, no. But my question is, who should define what equality means to women? How do we determine that?
I think it just means equal access to opportunities.
Yes, but how do we define that for
What
women?
are the opportunities? Do women have equal access to them?
All right. So you're saying this job requires that you show up 5 days a week and you can't leave at all. That's equal. Everyone have access to that. If you miss a day, you are fired. A woman gets pregnant and is fired for that would be equal. And that doesn't work. That's not a good system, hopefully. So you can't you can't just say a
Right.
blanket like, oh, just equal access. That doesn't work,
But
hopefully.
it would still need to be equitable, though.
Yeah. So there should be some shifting in kind of
Yeah, just like
what.
we talked about with the calories.
Yeah. All right. So the issue then, not an issue. Who defines what that woman needs for it to be like? Do we say, oh, when you have a child, you need this much time off? Who defines that?
Um, I think that if we're looking at large, like let's say we're talking about in the US, for example, um, realistically, if something like that were to happen,
No, no, I'm not
where
asking you. I'm not asking men or women. By the way, don't. The government is a cop out.
okay. So realistically, if that were to happen, then I think that there would need to be like a lot of data collected to come up with a baseline. So, and then, even like with the calories thing, like there might be extenuating circumstances that someone might have, but in general, women should get 2 years off after they have a baby. Like I think most
Who should
people,
determine that?
like who should make the legislation around it?
Who should have to do that? Who
I mean,
should determine what the woman needs?
the individual woman,
Hmm.
I think that an individual woman should be able to voice her own needs.
Okay, so then they should work.
They have to.
Yeah, but I'm
Like,
asking if they should have to. Should we just know what they need, or should they have to tell us what they need?
I see what you're trying to do, but but I already said that they should do it, but they shouldn't have to. Like you should be able to take as long as you need after you have a baby, for example.
Yeah,
You
but
should.
we contextualize it to America. Friedrich Nietzsche said that you can't get the thesis out of the entity. Maybe if we were more literate about injustice or lack of freedom, we would choose what justice and freedom like. Looks like. Um, so I'm reading Superman again, by Friedrich Nietzsche, and it I mean, it was used to justify white supremacy. Um, in Germany, and I don't think it was interpreted correctly. But I'm rereading it, so I'll let you know how that go. UG Rose, at least someone else here is interested in, not someone else. I mean, someone on the channel generally cares. Instead of someone giving us their version of liberty or free, yeah, this is what I'm trying to understand. Should Are you saying people should just have a knowing of what fairness means to the individual? Because it feels almost too fantastical to be a position. Or are you saying they shouldn't have to because we should have a sense of fairness, which would be
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying because the idea of we shouldn't have to is a fantastical one. That is absolutely a utopian society where everyone is happy, everything is going the way it should be. People don't have to work until they're 85 years old. Like all these
okay.
things.
So wait. So in that way, men shouldn't have to work either, in your mind.
In an optimal
No. Don't do that. Don't
No,
do that.
I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna answer, I promise. In an optimal utopian
Wait,
society.
1 second. Petty, are you tired?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Eddie's just doing what I be doing sometimes. I didn't think anything of it.
Go ahead.
In a utopian society where everything is going exactly how it should, it's definitely a fantastical idea. It is. But everyone should be contributing what they can, like for the greater and individual benefits that would give. So it wouldn't be like, oh, these people are just working so hard and they're tired and stressed out and unhealthy and blah, blah, blah. And these people have it easy. Like that wouldn't be the
So
utopia.
the sense with which you say women shouldn't have to engage for their own liberation or pay for it, you would say men shouldn't have to work.
Are you talking about in real life or in this fantastical?
No, see, why are you doing that? Because when I asked you about pay, you didn't do that. You answered and then explained.
Because I'm trying to make sure that it's lining up. I'm trying to make sure that you're asking me the same thing just about men versus women.
Yeah, because so when you were responding, it's sounding like you were saying women shouldn't have to work and be a part of their own liberation. It should just happen, but they will have to. And I'm trying to take that principle and see if it's just actually kind of meaningless, because you would apply it evenly across for everything. Like you were saying, this should be the case. This should be the case. Men
In
shouldn't have to work.
utopia.
Yeah. And so if that's your stance, then it's like kind of meaningless, right?
In utopia, but in like our day-to-day lives, everyone should work for things they want. Like,
but they shouldn't have to, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and when I say work, I'm not talking about like necessarily like going to work specifically necessarily. I'm just saying like what you said earlier, even just making your voice be heard, letting people know what your needs are. Like you should do that if you want a certain thing.
All right. So that you don't work, you should still be able to survive.
To survive, yes.
All right. And that's your utopia. So your answer to the question, should women have to work in their own liberation? Should they? You're saying they shouldn't have to, but they will have to.
But we should. We shouldn't have to, but we should, because that's the only way for anything to happen.
And so then in that way, it's a meaningless position.
Maybe.
No, answer. Push back if
no,
you don't.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that the question is kind of talking about two different things. Like I can hold the position that we shouldn't have to, just like I gave with the example about the car doors earlier. I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to be looking over my shoulder if I'm alone out in the world, because I should be able to be safe. But since that is not the case, I should make sure that I'm doing certain things to ensure my own safety. And
yeah.
Yeah,
But that's
like
what I'm saying. Like that would apply to literally everything. Everything that like we work to have access to. And I'm not saying you're wrong necessarily. I'm just saying in that way, you're saying we should live in a utopia, and your utopia is a socialist one where everyone has the basic access, right? Some level of the basic access. Where another person's utopia could be that it, survival of the fittest, girl, right? And so the question isn't which utopia is better. It's obviously none of them like are objectively perfect.
mhm.
And so your utopia says that you shouldn't have to engage to get
But in
your
real life,
needs met.
we should do it because this is real life. It's not utopia.
Yeah, but you should. But you were saying you shouldn't have to, theoretically.
Theoretically, we shouldn't have to, but we should because we are not in theory. We are actually like right now. These are things that have to happen.
All right. So when we say liberation, right? Um, the first idea was that the people who are privileged should be the one lifting all the load, right? That was Prince Petty's position.
Yeah.
Do you not want to talk about this, Prince Petty?
I don't have any type of background in philosophy. I can't define what makes a perfect utopia or how much food someone should get or how we should base such things off of. I was above my weight class.
I mean, it is getting into that realm of, yeah, phyllis,
Yeah,
philosophy.
we were Tyler Perry, and then we walked into how do you define consciousness and is it real and how do you measure it? It's a difficult transition. It's above my range.
Is it above or you just don't want to do it? Because I don't feel like I am like asking about like really tough theoretical issues.
I think it's tough. I just think it's difficult to define such.
Do you think there should be like a baseline that, let's say, for in terms of healthcare, access to food, education, like real world things that we can think of? Do you think there should be
Yeah, but I can't define that baseline for you.
Yeah, it's
I can't
definitely
explain where morally my baseline comes from. So that is what's above my range. Like I have my ideas around stuff, but I don't know how I would determine what food is necessary.
right.
For
I mean, that
example,
makes sense.
but I would say a baseline is necessary. I just don't know how I would determine what baseline that is or why.
And people should, so it sounds like we kind of agree.
Hmm?
It sounds like we kind of agree. Like there should be a baseline, but if you want something different or extra or whatever, then yeah, you should be able to do different extra things to get those things. But there should be like a minimum of what everyone should have access to. But we
Yeah,
don't know necessarily what that minimum is.
yeah, I think we mostly agree again.
Look at us.
The idea that the oppressor should be the one dealing with and liberating the oppressed, where does that come from? And can you explain that, Petty?
I can't explain where it comes from, but I generally think people who aren't marginalized should bear all of the load. Like you both have been saying, that is unrealistic and not very useful.
Why though? Why do you think they should?
We're talking, I assume you're creating a hypothetical world where we start off from a point where people are not marginalized and other people are marginalized, right? We are not in a utopia.
We're in America.
So I would say in my ideal world, people who have power do understand and are able to liberate people who don't have power. And people who don't have power don't have to be in charge of their own liberation.
Why?
I don't know.
But you haven't thought about it at all. Why is it that the people with power should be the ones, not the people with privilege, the oppressor should be the one elevating and liberating the oppressed?
That's what seems fair to me. People with power help people without power. That just seems inherently fair. Those are
What do
my
you mean?
inherent morals. That's not something I've expanded on.
I don't understand when you say inherent morals. Like, I don't understand.
That's like if I see someone push an elderly person to the ground, I find that bad. Um,
Why?
because they hurt a person. Why is it bad to hurt a person? I don't know. That's just something that I find inherently bad.
So
I'm
is it
sure if I
inherent?
really sat down and thought about it, I could derive where my morals come from, but I haven't.
So you don't know why it is that you think the oppressor should the oppressed trust the oppressor to liberate them?
In my ideal world,
See?
yes. In the real world, no, probably not.
Exactly.
I wouldn't trust anyone in power to do anything for anyone.
How do you end up in your ideal world with an oppressor and an oppressor?
We wouldn't, but we're starting from that baseline. Like when you said, Takei, would men have to work? In my view, we're starting in a world where we're starting here where we are. So men have power and women don't. And they use that power to make women equal. Now everyone's equal and everyone can work because there is no oppressor anymore.
All
So
right. So go ahead, sir.
what was the original question?
Why in your world, why would there be oppressed? But you said because I created that way. So now that we have it that way in this world, what should happen in this world?
I think people who are marginalized should be in community with people who are not marginalized, who are interested in liberation of those groups, so that they can both define what liberation looks like. So that would be both people working, I would say.
Yeah.
So those who are oppressed, women have to engage in work for their own liberation.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Like if women don't vote, Roe v. Wade might stay overturned. So
All right. So K is your initial. Women should work then, should work. Let me leave have.
Yeah. Leave that
For
out.
their,
Yeah.
for their own.
Women should. Yes.
The have to implies ownership. And it seems in both of your paradise, which it differs very drastically, I guess, from my paradise. One does not have to engage in labor to get the result they want. And that seems odd.
No, that's not true because I specified that there's a baseline. So there shouldn't be people starving or people
No,
going.
but what they want, I'm assuming, is that unless
If
you're
they
willing
want
to
something,
engage, unless you're willing to engage with how the baseline is, who sets the baseline, then it is what they want. But if it's not what they want, you're saying in this world, someone outside of them creates the baseline. And that, in your mind, is fear.
in this world,
Your world.
we're
In your
talking
world,
about.
yeah.
Okay, so in the real world,
No. In your world, in your imaginary world.
in the imaginary utopia,
Yeah.
like I said, there should be like a baseline, and a lot of people would be fine with the baseline. They would just live their life, have the
But
baseline.
who sets the baseline?
It would be based on the needs, like the
No. Who said it? Who's going to set up the metric for it?
Oh, data would have to be collected, and then it would have to, if we're talking about large groups and making like a general rule for a large group, you have to collect data and set baselines in that
So
way.
it wouldn't be individualized.
No, because if someone fell outside, like let's say there's the average person needs this or that. Let's say 2,000 calories a day. most people are eating that. Let's just say, I'm not saying that that's really what it is. That's not the argument. Let's just say. And then some people need 3,000. Those people that need 3,000 should be able to have access to 3,000. The people that need 1,000 or whatever, you know.
I hope you already see the problem with fairness already. Like, I hope.
Well, I get, like, I think I get where you're going in terms of fair can't be like inherently fair because it can't be individual. Like, it's just not realistic to be individualized by person.
Yeah.
So I get that, and I agree with that. I think that there are better ways to do things than what are happening like right now.
Oh no, that they're better. We agree, but how do we define fairness in a way that makes it fair? Because again, for me, fairness is super subjective.
Because you still have to look at individual. So if you make a general, I don't know, amount of money that people can get for groceries for a family of 4, most people would be able to do that. Some people might need more money, some people might need less, and those cases should be addressed individually. But for the most part, the general thing would cover most people. You get what I'm saying? So most people would fall within, you know, whatever the baseline was set at. The people who are outside of that should be able to get their needs met still. So, yeah, like I don't. Wait, why?
So you are not concerned with fairness then?
How
Or
is
do you
that?
think that's fair? Do you
How
think
is
it's
that not
fair?
concerned?
If you create an average in terms of what people have access to, the average, if it's on a bell curve, is like right here. The
Mhm.
people who fall on either end will be outside of the average, and then you are going to give them enough to bring them up to the average, I'm assuming, or at least to let them function. How is this like? I'm trying to figure out how you're defining
I
fairness.
thought we were defining it as equitable. Like
Equitable.
we wouldn't give someone with broken legs.
No. We're not defining. We're talking. We don't.
We call it unfair if we're trying to make them.
No. There's a difference between equal and equitable, and then there's separate concept of fairness.
Fairness goes along with equity. Equality, that's like fairness is
people would
equity.
disagree. That's what I'm saying. Like, not necessarily that you believe fairness is equity.
No, it's not. I believe equity, if you look it up, it has to do with being fair. If you look up equity,
and
so
equality doesn't.
Equitable is inherently fair.
No,
because that's like part of the definition.
No. No, you cannot say equity is inherently fair. That is a wild statement.
Bring up the definition of equitable.
Wait, no, explain what you mean before we bring up the definition for equity.
I mean that equity means it has to do with what's fair.
Yeah, no, equity has to do with like
bring up the definition of equitable.
He can't because it has the word fair in it.
No, it does have the word fair, but the whole concept of equity and equality. So bring up the definition of equality then.
Yeah, equal. So Themis, if you are, I don't know, 6 feet tall and I'm 4 feet tall and people are expecting us to reach the same thing just standing on the ground, that's not equal. We're not the same height. Like it just is not.
I don't disagree with you. That social justice warrior decided to redefine a word doesn't actually matter. That we got the same thing, right? Ignore where I am. If we get the same thing, that is fair, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay, then you're looking,
and it doesn't.
Then you're looking at the end result. That you're looking. No. You're looking at the end result.
It feels like Kay is not looking at the end result. Well, she is, but she's acknowledging the beginning result, which is that people aren't born the same. So when you're saying giving people the same thing is fair, How can it be if people aren't born?
Yeah, because equity is relative by definition. And even if the dictionary, because you guys keep saying bring up the definition, this is an
but
example.
K is defining being relative as being fair.
That it has to be relative in order to be fair. It has to be. If you're a man that weighs 300 pounds, you're 6'5", you play basketball, and I am a woman who lives a sedentary life and works at a desk or whatever, giving us the same amount of calories, it would be equal, but it wouldn't be equitable and it wouldn't be fair.
Okay, so I don't disagree with that statement, by the way. I understand what you're saying, the difference between like fairness and equality. But to say that we will give, and let me accept something quickly before we get too far down. I am along the lines of equity in this world. Like I don't want it to be mistaken that I'm like, we should not be equitable. I think, for example, let's say women and men, women have been far disadvantaged. So should say, oh, now y'all are even, go forth and conquer. In the same way I think about race, this is say this is a standardized exam, everyone gets the same exam. I think there's an inherent unfairness in not accepting there's a difference in where you're starting from, is what Kay, I'm thinking you're saying, right? That's
there. If everyone gets the exact same thing, it is unfair automatically because people have different needs. Something being equitable means that is taken into consideration because fairness and equity go hand in hand. In order for it to be equitable, it has to be fair. So if we're talking about equality, I don't think a lot of people even necessarily want equality where everyone is getting the exact same thing.
all right. So you want to see the problem? We finally got here. This is an example of problematic definition that is used in social justice. And it's so fundamental.
What? Okay,
no,
wait.
Let me show you. Because you said to bring up the definition, which I wanted to bring up, but I wanted you to like engage with it first, right? So it says the quality of being fair, equity, the quality of being fair and impartial, right? What does impartial mean?
What does equity mean in terms of people talking?
No. Wait.
What does equity mean in terms of people?
Wait.
I'm not here to argue semantics. I'm here to talk about what we're all talking about.
No, you can't do that. You can't say you're not here to argue semantics when you all are using the definition of words to say one thing means something and we should not engage beyond the definition.
I have a question that I would like a genuine answer.
When
we say equity, do you think we're talking about impartial, which would be equal? Which in my mind would be equal. I'm not sure if that's the literal definition.
No. What?
Do you think when we're saying fair or equity, what we mean is impartial?
What do you mean?
Do you think when Kay and I are saying equity, what we mean is impartial?
No, you guys are saying to be partial. I'm not talking about what y'all are saying. I'm saying the definition convolutes itself. It is eating itself. That's the whole point. The definition is actually kind of useless.
No, it's not. And this is the reason that it's not. This is the reason that it's not. So in language in general, these things happen with definitions of words. Like the word wrong comes to my mind. Something can be wrong, like fact, like it's incorrect, or it can be wrong, like morally, right?
Yeah.
You would know what I meant if I'm saying it in a sentence. If I say, oh, you went the wrong way, you wouldn't think that I meant you went the morally, you went, the way that was wrong morally. You would think that I meant wrong, like that's not the correct way that you should have gone to reach whatever destination you were getting to. Same thing with this. If we're talking about equity in this situation, when it comes to people with different needs, it comes to people that have all of these different situations going on, you should see the context of that and know that we're talking about being fair in this case, it would
No,
mean
but that's what I'm
addressing.
trying to get you to understand. You keep saying fear, but the moment we deviate from giving people exactly what it is that everyone else gets, we are now in a world where we are trying to figure out people's needs, which I don't disagree with, but it's no longer fear in this way.
So
Like,
you wouldn't consider affirmative action, for example, fair.
do I consider I don't care about fairness when it comes to affirmative action.
But
I
you
don't.
would.
I don't think it's.
But you
I
would.
don't. Do I think it's fair? I don't think it's fair, but I don't think it's fair because it doesn't help Black people in the way it should.
Okay, well, fair in this conversation feels useless if that's how we're defining
Oh
fair.
no, yes, I
Because
think it is useless. That is my whole point. That is my whole thesis. But beyond saying it's useless, I'm trying to say the moment you start trying to figure out the needs and trying to meet needs in that way, I think that is a good thing. But to say it's fear seems odd to me, even by the
Well,
definition. Like, I think. Okay, sorry, go ahead. You can cut me
well,
off.
this goes to what you always say. Like you could say that about anything. Like where would it end if we can't use the
No,
word
because I
equitable?
think no, someone said it. I think to say equal equals fear, I wouldn't care. I would say sure. You are being fair in giving everyone that. But fairness in that way is not helpful. To say something is not useful or helpful in the way that you receive it is why I'm okay with. But to say it's not fear and then define fairness as any kind of impartiality is wild to me.
Okay, so you were looking at fair, like, okay, if we all get the same thing, it's fair, even though we have different needs.
Yeah.
Okay. So but you agree that people's needs should be addressed. So it's like I think
Wait, you guys, you keep sorry, not you. Everyone is like, oh my God, let's look at definition, let's look at definition. Like, it is wild to me that we are like not looking at the actual like fear, free from bias, dishonesty, or injustice. Let's take out the dishonesty
so
or
if I like
injustice.
I'm pretty sure. Wait, scroll down a little, Themis, because I'm pretty sure that the first definition is not the one.
so if I
I
like
think,
freed the slaves, that
I
wouldn't
think
be
the
fair.
second one is
That
more so.
feels
Wait, which one?
The second one, legitimately sought, pursued, done, given, proper under the rules. So, like the rule in this case would be people's needs being met.
No, well, if you do this, you can literally create a rule. And if you're
No, but
following
I'm
it,
saying
you're good.
like the rule is the framework that we're working in, and it would be people's needs being met, right? And you're saying, how can you come up with something fair under that? I get that, but we're not using definition number one. We would be using definition number two.
No,
So,
but
like
you can't use
proper under.
definition number two because definition number two doesn't always mean equity or equality. Like, legitimately thought, pursued, done, given, like none of that, like that doesn't even actually hint at fairness at all in like a
But
meaningful way.
proper under the rules is the thing that
So
would,
you're
because the
telling me the
rule.
fairness we're talking about is not about bias. So
I think that the first definition, free from bias, dishonesty, or injustice, is like making sure that, I don't know, if two
that you are not biased
I
in your
think
judgment. If you
I
are
think
biased in your by the way,
I
you are biased in your judgment as soon as you decide I'm looking at this individually, and I'm going to give based on that individual need. You're being shaped by a bias, as opposed to like setting a framework and giving everyone the same thing. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying the way we are using language now to define equity as fairness in the way the definition does is weird and wild.
do you think
You're being biased. You
do
have
you
to.
do you think it would be fair to
no,
correct unfairness?
Wait, Petty, go ahead. Sorry.
Do you think it would be fair to correct unfairness?
Yeah, I think it would it be feared. I mean, the result might not be fear.
Like if I owned slaves, freed them, and gave them reparations, would this is like a basic analogy. I don't know if people consider reparations making an unfairness fair.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Would the reparations be fair even if I don't give it to people who weren't slaves? If I don't give it to people who weren't slaves, would it be fair since I'm being partial?
I mean, I think that would be fair.
So I think that's the lens that Kay is working from. I think your
Being
scope is, am I treating these individuals the same? And Kay's might be, have these people been started at a fair point in the first place, based on, I guess, gender in this conversation, or
bi-
disability, or race,
being
or
having bias, it's unfair because you're favoring one person over another, one group over another. That's what the bias is in this context. If you're being biased, you are absolutely not going to be being fair because you're favoring a group or an individual over other people. So you're going to act accordingly to that. You're going to say, oh,
No, a bias doesn't mean a favor. You can have a bias for or against something.
okay, you're biased and you look at something favorably or unfavorably. Either way, same thing though. You are specifically, purposefully leaning towards or away from a certain group or individual. That's being biased. But if you say, look, I want to make sure these people's needs are met and I want to make sure everyone's needs are met, that's not bias. Just because you have differences in terms of just because you address the differences that those people made.
Yeah, by addressing it, you are leaning into, like, you're
But that's not bias. That's like objectively seeing that someone needs something different than someone else. It's not, I favor tall people or short people. It's, I know that tall people might need this and short people might need that, and I'm gonna accommodate that. That's not me being biased to these people. It's literally me just objectively seeing that the needs are different. Bias would mean that I favor or don't like one or the other, and I'm doing something because of my feelings or whatever towards a certain group, whether they be positive or negative. But this
no. It doesn't. A bias is just a judgment for or against something, or a judgment that leaning toward, leaning to something or away from something. Bias isn't like negative or positive; it can be both. But
it says bias, prejudice in favor of or against one thing, person, or group.
It also says an inclination of temperament or outlook. It also says an instance of such prejudice. It also says judging based on outlook.
What we were saying in context and language. Like, bias has a bunch of definitions, but in this context, the one that we're talking about would be the one about, are you favoring or, leaning away from a certain group because of how you look at, see, or feel that this group is.
Yeah, and one could argue that the bias is in giving one more because you believe they need it more.
No, it's not because I believe. That's where the difference.
No, it have to be believed. Like you can say objectively you need this. So
yes,
no,
you can. You can absolutely, Themis. You can absolutely measure objectively if a 5-year-old needs the same amount of calories as a 25-year-old.
Yeah, no, but that's for the obvious examples. But I'm saying that, like, affirmative action, right? How do we know who is going to do well when they get in?
You don't.
You don't. So that's what I'm saying. You can't just look at the end result.
No, but what does that have to do with bias, though?
It is a bias to or against something.
How? I don't know what that is on the whiteboard.
I'm not taking it down until you acknowledge it. This is a man who is disabled and he gets crutches, but the person who's not disabled does not get crutches.
Exactly. You can objectively see that the person who cannot walk without them needs the crutches, and the person who runs track and jumps hurdles does not need them. You can objectively see.
Yes, you can objectively see that. I'm talking about those cases where it's not like that.
Okay,
like
Give
Go
us an
ahead.
example. Give some examples, like
We've been talking about the school
affirmative
admissions for
action.
forever.
About what? Sorry.
From school admissions.
So what is the argument that you have about school admissions?
No, you were saying it's easy to tell who needs what, and I'm like, no, it's not. And affirmative
No,
action for
well, in that case, if we're talking about affirmative action, for, I don't know, let's say women, or yeah, let's just say women. The way that you can objectively tell is because for many, many years, women weren't able to do certain things. So there's lots of gaps when it comes to that. Same thing with Black people. For many years, Black people did not have access. So you can objectively see, okay, everybody else not everybody else, but people got a head start. So you can see that objectively. It's not like, oh, I have no idea why they chose to give these accommodations to Black people or women. Like, why they did. Like, it's literally, like, it's reality that you can measure.
Wait, I
It's
didn't
not
understand what you were saying just now.
you can measure that. Like, you can see what's been happening. It's not just people making it up. Like, these things have been happening. So it's not just like, oh, you think they need. No, people know that certain people need certain things because you see what it's been historically. You see what it is currently. So
No. So I think that's where you and I are getting wrong. That you see something has happened and you need to redress it. I agree with how you redress it is the problem. You are saying it is fear to look at and see who it needs what and give it to them. The question is who determined the need and who give, like, well, first, who determined that need? And it seems like you are suggesting that equity as a concept, allowing us to determine what is needed and give it to them. Who, like, does the person who is in need explain what is needed, or is the person giving or trying to meet the need determine what is needed?
So in our current society, the best
No.
way
All right, go ahead. Yeah, that's what I
in
mean.
our current society, the best way to do that would be to collect a bunch of data and address different things that way. And then there will be people that fall outside of what
No,
that
I'm
data.
trying to figure out who determine the need. Like, is it the people?
Researchers, people go and I mean, they collect data, and then people who don't fit within there. Let's say we're talking about maternity leave. Let's
Mhm.
say all this data is collected. They talk to women, they get surveys, they collect data from just a bunch of different data points they collect. And they come to the conclusion,
All
all
right.
right,
Wait,
women should
wait,
get 2
wait.
years maternity leave. There will
All
be
right.
some women that might need 5. There will be some women that might
Okay,
need
so you
1.
think that's fear?
Huh?
You think that's fear?
To address people's needs.
No. To create the standard 2 year for people based on the research. However, there are people who are going to need more, and there are people who are going to need less. You think giving the people who need more and giving the people who need less, but and moving around the 2 hour, that's fear.
Yeah, addressing everyone's needs.
Okay.
Yes.
So you think that's where you do understand how other people won't see that as fear, like
I would like
particularly the
to talk
one.
to those people, because how else. Now, like I said, in a utopia, every individual person would get whatever they need to get. We're not in a utopia, we're in real life. I
No,
think
no,
that
I don't care. I'm just talking about fairness, because like what this is the whole point that I was trying to explain previously when it comes to fairness and
Mhm.
using equity in terms of fairness. We do the research. We find that women need 3 years after they have a child. They have 3 years, but then there are women who need more, and then there are women who need less. That you are saying is completely fine in giving the people who need more and the people who need less. And you are saying that would make it fear. And you are like, yes, that's fairness.
Yes, and the thing that would need to be added, though, is that everyone has the ability to voice or have their needs heard, at least. Because some people, I can get how it wouldn't be fair if there are some people who can't even access the people who might be able to help them, right? Like that wouldn't be fair because they can't even access those resources. But yeah, if there
So
needs to be a case,
let me just say, subjectively, before getting, let me get into this. If I am the person you say that the world decide need less, I'm probably going to say that's not fair.
no, but it's not that the world is deciding. See, that's where, okay, it's not that the world is
Wait.
deciding. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the people who themselves decide that they need less,
what was the research for?
to find the average, what most people would be okay with. What
All right,
most
so
people would be
most
fine.
people will get 2 years.
A
Most
lot
people.
of women want to go back to work way before 2 years.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. But 2 years, the research says 2 years. Most people get 2 years, and then individually, people will decide if they want more or less.
They will voice their needs. It's not just like, oh, I want 50 years, maternity leave. But people would be able to voice their needs and why they need it. Because as it stands currently, no one cares. You could be depressed. You could be just had a C-section surgery. No one cares. You going back to work or you're not getting paid or whatever the case may be. That's how it is currently. But I'm saying it would be fair if, okay, you had a traumatic birth and you needed more time. It would be fair if you could get that more time. Get more time.
Okay, so the people don't choose who the people. So the people don't. The women don't choose how much time they get off, or do they?
Wouldn't it be?
What?
Wouldn't it be?
Who chooses? Because why do we do the research? If the research says 2 years, how do we is it 2 years and then the people who need more get more and the people who need less get less?
Wouldn't it
yes,
be?
but it's not just arbitrary, like, oh, I want 50 years maternity leave.
Wait, who determines the need?
Doctors, psychiatrists, I don't know, whatever the need is, the professional or whoever in that field.
All right, so the professionals.
People would need access to those people.
So why do we have the average then if the professionals are just going to determine? Because I'm assuming, wait. The reason I'm asking that is I'm assuming the professionals will determine every single time to find out if you get the average or not. Because it would be reckless to just decide, oh, most people will get this. We don't know who is going to fall in and out. So at every single point, there has to be a professional determined. So the research is kind of useless.
But Themis, think about it.
Is it useless?
This is with a lot of things. Think about something like, I know healthcare is problematic.
I want to say with pregnancy because it's useful. But
no, I mean, we can say with that. So, in general, they say you should be delivering your baby between 38 and 42 weeks. Most people are delivering in that time frame.
Yeah.
That's general. They, collected data. This is when most people are going to have their babies. Some people are going to have their baby at 22 weeks, and they'll have to do what needs to be done to try to keep that baby healthy and alive and all of that. Some people might go over 42 and then they might need to induce you or, try to speed along your labor in some kind of way. These things happen, but in general, people are going to fall between 38 to 42 weeks.
Does that mean they don't go to the doctor to make sure that's when the day?
Yes. Yeah,
even though we have an average, the doctor still will be involved with if you can afford it, all the people until they have their child. So who determines? All right, yeah. So who determines how much time you get off?
The situation that you're in. Like like I said, if you had a traumatic birth, like I think now, if you have a understand
then how this is how fairness is implicated here. Someone said overly pedantic. The whole point is pedantic. This is the whole point of the conversation. Like I don't understand. Like this is pedantic.
Yeah. I mean, I like these kind of conversations where you like really try to see I do it all the time when I talk to people. Like, do you even believe what you're saying? So you have to keep asking questions to get to, do you believe this at its core, or is it more complicated than that, or is it different than that? So, but like I said, in general, with pregnancy, like, people are going to deliver their baby between 38 and 42 weeks. Most
Oh, it
people.
was, sorry. Someone said thought it was leading to a video. It was leading to a video, but I got more interested. The video is about what women and men want, and about equality, and like the video is useless. Honestly, I will play it still, but like the video is actually kind of useless. This got more interesting to me. But sorry.
So if I think now, like in my state, you get like 6 weeks for a vaginal delivery and like 8 weeks for a C-section. And some people need more than 8 weeks. Some people need more than 6 weeks for a vaginal delivery. Like, but I think all 6 and 8 weeks is just too low across the board. I think the vast majority of women would agree that that's too little after having a baby, no matter how you had the baby. But like I said, if they came up with a time period that people, through data collection, and this includes getting people's opinions, seeing how people, their health is, their mental health, all that, the baby's needs, like, are you breastfeeding, are you not, like, all
But
these.
you see how that is in and of itself flawed. Like, you have to track for a lot of things, and even if it's not flawed, we can figure out. Hopefully, we get to figure out a time frame. The moment that there are people getting more time off, and then there are people getting less time off, it seems that
But
fairness.
it's already like that. I doubt people would. It's already like that. Some jobs don't have any maternity leave.
Oh yeah,
There's nothing you can do.
yeah,
Some
and
jobs
that's
have
unfair.
18 months.
And I would say that's unfair.
And that's the thing. Like, that's how it is right now. So, like, there are people with more and more people with less and people with less, but it would be a much better and more fair situation if everyone got more to start with. The average, let's say, is 2 years or whatever the case may be.
No,
2
but
years.
you see that's too blanket. If everyone gets more, there will be people who already have a lot that will just get more, and then the people who are just getting some would.
I don't think anyone in this country, I don't know, maybe some people do, chat, let me know, has a 2-year paid maternity leave. I don't think that anyone has that in this country. So with that being the case, that's already doing better than everyone is doing.
Yeah, but my thing is, wait. Fairness is relative. So it's not just like, oh, y'all are doing above and beyond. Is it fair that you are getting more than me? And why? Because I need it. For a lot of people, don't cut it. And when we go to the definition, I find the definition kind of useless. So if someone is saying, you have 3 kids, so you get this much more wealthier. Well, not wealthier. I don't know why I just went to welfare. You get more time than me for a child, and I don't think that's fair. How do you respond to that?
Visit your healthcare provider, get the documentation needed, so that you can get the time that you need for whatever your condition or situation is.
Fear about their ideas of fairness.
Oh, you're saying like they just think it's unfair, even though they're feeling good, feeling great after these 2 years, and they're just like, I just want more time.
You got more than me, therefore it doesn't have to be child, whatever. You got more than me, therefore this is unfair to me.
Then I would say, there are lots of people you can talk to about that. But as it stands, if you do not have any mental or physical or any reason that someone's going to verify that you need more than 2 years, then you would have to cope with that in a healthy way.
Did you know when the definition of because prior to 2010, fairness was equality. And then it changed, the conversation changed from equality to equity because a lot of people said equality does not make sense. Giving people the same access doesn't make sense. Do you know I'm assuming you understand and you agree with why that change occurred.
Yeah.
I also, but I don't call it fairness.
What would you call it?
I don't call it anything. I just say equity. I don't
Okay.
care about
Yeah.
a fairness.
Okay. Yeah. Like, I mean, we can use the word, I mean, we were using the word equitable. So yeah, it should be equitable,
Yeah,
which
no,
means everyone's not
I
necessarily
think
gonna have the same.
what we're doing, sorry, this is like literally off from the topic itself about women, but like it seems like we're saying, like you're couching equity, which some of the definition does this, would couch it equity in fairness. That equity makes it fair. That giving based on need make things fair.
Yes. Now, is everyone going to feel good about that? No.
It's
But
not
just
just
because everyone
feeling.
does,
I feel like that's so dismissive. Like,
no, it's not. It's literally everyone's not going to feel good about it.
Yeah, it's the HR approach.
It's like, okay, if I do not need a handicap parking spot, somebody might feel a way about not being able to park there. But at the end of the day, you do not have any handicaps that make it so you need to park there. So you can feel however you want. You're gonna feel, people feel ways all the time about stuff.
all right, let's redo that again. You said fairness. When we say bias, bias is impartiality, right?
Yeah, because you are either like for or against something. Like you have
Yeah.
feeling about whatever the
So
thing
if
is.
bias is but if bias is partiality and fairness is impartiality, you, I don't understand how we get to equity with fairness, because it feels like you have to be partial.
It's because you were arguing semantics. We all knew what we were talking about.
With fairness, it's not about how you feel about something. It's about addressing people's needs that they have.
Is fairness about addressing the needs, or is it about creating a system that works?
In a system that works, people's needs are addressed.
Not everyone.
Whose needs shouldn't be addressed in a system
Oh,
that
I
works?
don't know, girl. These are the choice decisions people are making. But impartiality would be like creating a blind system. So, like the idea, the reason this is important to me is because, like, justice is blind and you should be impartial. Impartial is saying fairness. Like that is the root of we know the justice system is not great, but in theory, we use impartiality to describe the justice system as being blind, and that is fairness. So when when
But Themis,
fairness has impartiality as part of the definition, and then we're saying we should look at the individual and give them what they want, like it feels like an odd
that's the same
statement
thing
to
that
me.
happens in the legal world. Everyone doesn't get the exact same sentence for
Oh,
the
no, they shouldn't get the exact same sentence.
exactly, but it's still impartial and it's still fair based on what
Yeah.
you just said.
No. By the way, the justice system is not fair. I said
No. I'm
theory.
saying like how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that's exactly what.
No.
Yes.
No, we're talking about definitions. This is
You
why
just
literacy and information should be a requirement. You cannot embody that which you cannot express or define to a new. I agree with this.
Themis, what did you just say about the legal world and like fairness and being impartial?
Fairness is described as marked by impartiality.
Okay.
Impartiality is defined as equal treatment.
So then why doesn't every person who commits the same crime get the exact same sentence?
Because, well, I don't know, but their past history, all of that come together. The issue.
Okay. So then is the judge not being impartial if they give
No,
a
they're not. The judges aren't they're being very partial.
No,
They're being fair.
I'm saying in if we're not talking about like the flaws of the legal system, but just in a vacuum, like if this is how it was supposed to be, do you think that those things shouldn't be considered, or once you consider them, now you're not being fair?
What shouldn't be considered? Wait, explain yourself. Wait, because like if you do the same crime, if you commit crime, you get sentenced based on the crime you commit. You get sentences based on that, and then past history and all of that come together. So if you commit the same crime, you get the same.
But you just said past history, but everyone's past history is not the same.
Yeah, because you commit more crime or you commit less crime.
But if we're talking about one crime, you're not getting tried for all of your other crimes. We're talking about the one crime you committed.
Are you asking me what happens now or what should happen?
I'm asking you what it means in what you just described. If we're talking about people being impartial, and we're talking about people being fair, let's say in a judge and, defendant or whatever.
I can't believe you think you got me there. In a real world, if you serve your time, it should not be considered at all.
Right. I mean,
in a perfect world.
But you just said that, like, do you think that there is no way for currently in our world that we live in, for a judge to be fair?
No, I don't think it's possible.
Okay.
However, that's not what I was talking about. I'm saying the definition of fairness actually have in there equality. So it's weird then to define
equitable as fair.
Yeah.
I get it, but that still goes back to like context and all that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. By the way, the whole issue is pedantic. That's why when people say, "Oh, you're being pedantic," the whole thing is pedantic. The issue is, it feels, from my perspective, like the definition was upgraded to make it more social justice friendly. I can't prove this because it seems like equity and equality are used interchangeably. Generally, but also in terms of academic and also the dictionary, because you're defining equity as fairness and then defining fairness as impartiality, which impartiality means equality. And it's like, okay, you just created a very weird definition and concept, and it doesn't make sense. So we're arguing over nothing, kind of.
No, because if you look up,
does it have to be contradictory if we're thinking about a impartial ending that may stem from people with different beginnings, and wouldn't the fairness both be addressing that? And ending up
that is the issue with social justice in my mind that I'm trying to understand. It feels like we're lying when we engage in social justice work, and we're looking to the end result to get to what we need to give. Like we're trying to equalize the end result, and we're not owning that. And trying to equalize the end result is a terrible, terrible, terrible way to attempt social justice.
We're not equalizing. That's not what I'm saying. I don't know what the academics
are. No. That has to be what you're saying.
I want to equalize the starting point, because people don't start off at the same place, or the midpoint, whatever you want to call the beginning of the race, right? That's what I wish to equalize. That would be the end point. The end point would be the starting line, and we should try our best to equalize the starting line, right?
So you think this is incorrect? If I show you this, do you think this is incorrect?
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Is this what equity means?
Yes.
Petty.
I feel like yes and no. It could be one way.
This is trying to equalize the outcome.
Yeah, that's equalizing outcome. Yeah.
Okay, so how is it then, Kay, not equalizing the outcome?
Because this goes back to what we were saying, or what I was saying about like context and how we're using these words. If we are saying, are they all on equal sized boxes? Then yes, they are. Is it equitable for being able to see whatever it is they're looking at? No.
All right, yeah, so that's
So
the outcome, though. The outcome is being able to see over the fence. And so you are going to give each of these people the ability to see over the fence. This is
But what if,
looking at the outcome to justify what you give people.
yeah, but
I'm not
what if,
saying you're wrong. I'm just saying own that you want equality. You just want it in the outcome. And to get it, you are going to say equity to get to equality.
but what if the outcome in seeing over the fence is I want people to have equal access to primary school? So the people who might live far or might not be able to afford cars, will give them buses. That's the outcome that we want, but that's not like,
Sorry, I didn't hear
that's
you.
not what I feel
Sorry.
like that's not what you're describing.
Wait, can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
Let's say the outcome I want everyone seeing over the fence is I want all children of any background to be able to go to school, whether they're disabled, poor, black, whatever. And so I look at the children in the community who are in poverty and can't afford cars, and we set up bus routes or something so that those children can get to school. My outcome would be accomplished in this hypothetical. My outcome would be accomplished and everyone would get an equal chance to participate in school. But that's not me. It sounds like the outcome you're describing is everyone graduates.
right.
No, that could be the access. You can redefine and define the access, and
So
that's what people do to escape the fact that this is what we believe equity is. By the way, this is something that I've been struggling with for the last 2 years, about whether or not, because like honestly, you can say, oh, they're just doing this is just the access. In fact, they are actually a part of the game, and the person who gets to cheer the loudest or whatever is the winner. So we weren't actually trying to make it equal or whatever. Like you can say, oh, we weren't trying to get them to go to school. We're trying to get them to graduate. Oh, we weren't trying to get them to graduate. We just want them to go to school. That's the equality of access. You can redefine it however you want. But
It has to, it's
no,
not
what I'm
necessarily
saying
that
though,
it's being redefined. There are multiple points. Like you also want to make sure just getting the kids to school isn't the only outcome we want. What if there are people who have mental disabilities? They would need
yeah,
additional
no, that's
forms of
what I'm
access in
saying.
school. It's
There
not
will
necessarily,
never be an
I'm just
end
saying,
point.
I'm just saying I'm not redefining anything. I believe there are multiple points at which
No,
there.
you already did. You said that what if this is what we wanted to do? And I'm like, okay, if you only want them to get them to school,
That's
then
not a redefinition though, because I would also say graduation. How do we also get people to
exactly. That's
um,
what it never ends. That's what
and
I
how do we
literally just
also get
said.
people to do X,
That's
Y,
what I said.
for?
It never ends, and I don't want it to end. I don't have a problem with the framework. I'm still grappling with it myself, but I think we're lying. Not you. I think generally people are lying when they say, oh, we are just talking about access. No, we are fundamentally focused on the outcome. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't even actually have a problem with you not owning that, because I think we need to move more covertly. My issue is if we're having a conversation, it feels like the goalpost keeps moving when we talk about equity and equality, and who get initially it was about who needs to work for it.
well, but the thing is though, like with all the access in the world, some people still aren't going to have a certain outcome.
Yes, and I don't think that people want that to be okay. Like,
I
I don't think people are saying, "Oh, we're." Let me put this up again while we talk.
I don't think that people are saying, you know, everybody needs to have the same outcome. Like, I don't think most people, when arguing about this specific topic, are saying everyone needs the same outcome, because we know that regardless of anything, people are going to have different outcomes. I think that the argument is that based on the scaffolding that's given, based on the access that's given, you are allowed the opportunity.
No, I'm going to push back, because
How?
when you say that the women, what determine how much time the women who give birth will get? Isn't that when they feel better? Like when we break it all the way down, it's you should get as much time as you need to feel better. Therefore, you should look at the outcome we want and give them the time based on the outcome. I agree with this,
Those
by
are
the way.
for the people, the outliers.
Yeah, but it is ultimately to get them to feel better.
Oh, even the 2 year. Yeah, people should have more time. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's looking to the outcome. And I don't know that this is, I'm not saying it's wrong. I am not saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, people need to
thing-
stop hiding the fact that what they mean by equity is that they want to create a more fair outcome. And that's fine.
I don't
But
think
it's not-
people. I don't think people want that. I think
Access.
people
No,
want-
wait, pause. You
I
can
think
say that. No,
people
no,
want-
Petty, wait. You can say you don't think people want the outcome when you say this is correct as a painting, and then what Kay was saying about.
Let's look at this painting that you love so much. Let's look at this painting that you like so much. On the right side, this is what we want people to have the ability to do. That's it. I don't feel like people want everyone to. Well, I assume you would want everyone to watch the game, right? I assume that means being successful in America or whatever.
Yeah.
But not everyone has to do that, and that's not the goal. If you want to throw your life away, you don't have to go up the ramp just because they provide it for you. I think that's what people are saying. I was going to make a whole thing about let's make sure there's a wheelchair accessible road.
Yeah, no. That they don't do it doesn't matter. That what you want is the same outcome, is what I'm saying. So you're creating policies. Wait. You're creating policies that will make hopefully create the same outcome for everyone, and that's just like a weird thing to do.
I think people want an opportunity. You want to be able to do something if you want. Like, some people might not want to go to college.
This girl has an opportunity right here. It's not the best opportunity, but she got an opportunity, the one in the middle.
You're talking about on the equality side, the pink shirt?
But both, yeah, she got an opportunity. Just use them muscles.
Right.
I'm joking, y'all. I am joking.
I mean, and that's how. So you're talking about people are looking to the outcome. I mean, I guess I get what you're saying, but I think when people have this discussion, they are more so talking about access. Like,
no, we're hiding what we're saying in access, because even your example of the women who give birth having different time frame is predicated on the outcome of them feeling better. Like, and I'm okay. I'm actually in agreement with you. But like, the whole point is that we're looking to what will the result be. So we're working the result back from the result backwards, as opposed to saying,
but that's not those things. Outcome after having a child, which is literally a physiological change, is different than can you see over a fence. Those two things are measured totally differently.
No, but it's not the exact things that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the principle of what equity means. And equity means
it's different depending, like, it really matters what the thing is.
It does, but I'm saying that we look to it at one point. Oh, Z, thank you for being a member.
Hey, Z.
Meeting a current need, you're saying, but I don't think it's just meeting the need. It is meeting the need, looking to the outcome. Like, if this is what we want, this is what this person needs.
But that's the thing. With something like having a child, you never will know the outcome. You could
and that's why that's why you don't give it to them pre the child, you give it to them after the child.
But that's even if you give it after the child, there's no way to know the outcome of something like that. Just like there's no way to know the outcome.
But we're not arguing about whether there's a way to know.
But when we're talking about outcomes, and that's what people, like you were saying, that's what people are usually looking towards. Like, what is the outcome?
Yeah.
Equal outcomes.
Why would they do this if it's not about the outcome?
In terms of these boxes, yes, it's so that everyone can see over the fence, but this is not literal. This is figurative. So in a certain case, the fence, if we're talking about pregnancy, the fence might be having time for your body to heal, having time to bond with your baby, having time to, establish a routine with your newborn, whatever the thing is, in terms of bringing a life into the world, which is a mental and physical thing that is not just like subjective. There are objective things, like physiological things that happen. So in this figurative, example, yeah, it's seeing over the fence. But when we're talking about specific situations, it's not that simple. You have to look at what the situation is. When it comes to having a child, it's different than when it comes to, I don't know, being able to, I don't know, any other example.
It is not that they will take the box and that they will do and they will succeed. It seems it sometimes feel, and I don't know that I agree with this completely, but it sometimes feel like we look at the outcome that we want and we're trying to create that outcome, which people who engage in the kind of equity conversation denies that they are looking to the outcome. But then you use this painting or you use the idea that, well, we need to give them the time to heal. Agreed. But isn't that looking to the outcome?
I think it's looking to the, okay, here's another analogy. You can give all three of us a canvas, some paint, some paintbrushes, exact same supplies. So and if you need, I don't know, you need glasses, Themis, you can wear your glasses. I don't need glasses. I don't know if Petty needs glasses. So get your glasses so that you can see.
We're thinking about the outcomes and we shouldn't get Themis glasses because we're thinking about seeing. And
so now
or something.
So now we all have all the tools we need. Our outcomes aren't going to be the same. But one of us might just be like, I'm not about to pay anything. Somebody might be like, man, I'm going to spend all day on this. I'm going to put a lot of effort. Some people might be like, I'm just going to throw something together real quick. But at the end of the day, everyone had access to be able to do something. Do we know what the thing is? No. Do we desire that everyone's going to paint the Mona Lisa? No. We don't know. We just desire that everyone has the access to the things they need to be able to do whatever it is they're trying to do. And that is up to the individual.
Yeah, but that's the language that we keep using. But then when we ask about what is needed, it's you are going to individualize what each person needs and then call that fairness because it's equity. And that doesn't make sense to me because once you start individualizing, there is innately a sense of unfairness that others are going to feel. Like, why would you give this person more than that person?
Well,
and then
is it unfair if one person does, I don't know, a better job at something than another person if they both have the same resources?
No, it's not. It's not unfair.
Like the way that you don't look at that as unfair, I don't look at it as unfair if like the maternity leave example, if everyone's
is that unfair if two people have the same resources and one of them do better than the other? You think that's unfair?
No, I don't. I agree with you. And I'm saying the same way that I look at that is the same way that I look at it's not unfair if, like, I keep thinking about the classroom, the snacks in my class. Some kids don't need anything. Some kids never ask for anything. They don't want anything. They don't need anything. They bring their own snacks. Their parents know that there are snacks in the class, but they still send them with their own because they don't really need these ones. Other kids get something to eat in my class every single day. No one, even kids, and these are little kids, none of the kids who bring their own snacks are like, man, it's unfair that I bring my own snacks and so is getting snacks from your bin. Because it worked. Like, you got to give people some credit. Now, will there be people that are going to complain in any situation? Absolutely. Does that mean that the framework is unfair? No. It's just that people complain. That's how it goes. In any situation, people are going to complain. That doesn't mean it's not fair. You can do everything on an individual basis and people are still going to complain. That doesn't mean it's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, because you're using the framework of fairness, which is you create a rule. If you need it, you can have it. If you don't need it, you don't have it. That's your framework for fairness. That's fine.
What? Don't say it like that's your framework. Like this is not a real.
My fairness is like I believe like I don't even care about fairness. I would give who needs it, and then I would give who I wouldn't give who doesn't need it. But I wouldn't say I'm just fair. I would just be like
Everyone
I
has
don't.
access to the snacks in the
No,
classroom.
everyone don't have access to the snack. If you don't need it, you do not have access to it. to me.
Everyone in my class has access to the snacks.
Okay, then that's your framework. Then you don't give it; they'll take it when they want.
Just like everyone has access to the 2 years.
No, some people have access to more where some people don't.
No, I'm talking about as the baseline. Everyone has access to the snacks. Everyone has access to the
No,
2
wait,
years.
no. That doesn't make sense. But I'm gonna let you correct that because if you don't need the 2 years, you still have access to the 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years is the
That is
baseline.
unfair. That is
Oh.
legit. That would be unfair.
No, because some people do not want to stay on maternity leave for 2 years. They shouldn't be forced
No.
to.
I'm not telling those people who don't. I'm saying if you don't need it, why would you have it?
You
Because
have
you did a need-based.
access.
No, yeah, but you shouldn't have access to it because you said you did a needs-based test.
It's
That just
there
sets the
there
baseline.
are
there.
it's a minimum.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
What? It's kind of like how
Wait. You do realize that's actually pretty good. Except you. Yours doesn't look good. The other two look like us, but for you, the one for you does not look
it's
like
really
you.
good. I
I
love
made
it.
mine the most beautiful to reflect accurately.
All
But
right,
yeah,
someone
what's
said,
wrong with
would it be-
people
wait,
getting the
wait,
baseline
no.
even if they don't need it?
How? Wait, what?
What's wrong with people getting the baseline even if they don't need it? Like
It's
PTO or something.
unfair because the whole point is that you're doing it equity. Equity for you, therefore, means that people. This is a. Let me pull this up. This is what you think equity means. That if someone is getting 2 years, sorry.
Do they need to watch the baseball game?
No, I'm just pointing out. Well, let me put it down because I don't want to just bastardize what you're saying. If you're saying you do a research and people get 2 years off, if you need more, you can get more, right?
You
If
don't
you
want to
need
take the whole
less,
thing.
no, that's fine. If you need less, like based on your physiological need, if you need less,
No. Nope. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you don't want to take the whole thing, you don't have to. It's
but
not physiological need.
wait, no. But I'm saying if you need less, you can still get more. If
Yeah,
you need less
like
than
if you have a sick day, but you're only sick 4 hours out of the day, am I going to make you come back to work, or do you get to enjoy the rest of that day off and then you can come back?
Okay, that's not fairness. That can't be fairness in the way that the principal fairness. Like you, all right. So this is the bell curve that you created, right?
Mhm.
And in the middle is the average, right? If everyone gets this, then that's fine. That's equality. You said
Okay.
equity requires that if you need more, you'll get more, and if you need less, you'll get less. But if you need
No,
less,
you don't have to take it. It's not you'll get less. There's a baseline. Okay, it's like this, Demas.
that's
Let's
not
say you work,
equity. That is not equity.
let's say you work at a
Oh, wait,
job.
can you admit that that's not equity? If you're saying
I
everyone
will
gets
not
the
admit
baseline,
that that's not equity because
wait,
that is
wait.
absolutely equity.
Equity is looking at what you need and giving you what you need. Is that incorrect?
Equity, you have the access, you have the thing baseline. Now, will there be extenuating circumstances? Yes, maybe you'll need more.
No.
Okay.
You're trying to escape this.
No,
I'm not letting you.
This is the least escaping I have ever done on this show. I'm absolutely not escaping
All right.
anything.
So
I'm saying that if you have 10 days, Themis, let's say you work at wherever, you have 10 days sick leave. Everybody gets 10 days. Some people might break their leg and have to do FMLA and they get more time off. Or they have a baby and they get more time off. Some of it's paid. You don't get that because you didn't have a baby. Some people might not take all 10 days. It's still fair because the people who don't
I'm not arguing about fairness. I agree. This is
you You just said it's not
No,
fair.
no, no. This is equality with exceptions when you have more hard times. The issue is when you don't need as much time and you have access to all of it, you are not doing equity. You are not meeting the wait.
No,
Wait,
when you don't want it. If you bring up this picture
no.
one more time.
He, no. This is what you're doing. You're saying at base, everyone gets one stool. This man who is already able to see would get one more stool. That's
Yeah.
not equity. That is not. You're not trying to balance the scale there.
Is he on the stool?
Wait. I'll let you finish it. If you give everyone the baseline, you're essentially saying equality. You're saying everyone has this, everyone is equal, everyone gets the same amount. And there are some exceptions, so when you need more. Because if you need less, if you're the person in the red here, you should not get to take one of these boxes. But you are saying you get to have one of these boxes. And
Yeah.
that's the problem.
No, I'm saying the floor, not the box.
Everybody gets the box, but
The
she
floor
also
is the 2 years. Everyone gets to stand on the floor. Yeah, he could walk out of the room or whatever and not be on that floor, but the baseline is the 2 years. The baseline.
Yes, but I feel like you're not understanding it then.
Everybody gets the floor. I understood it. And if you can't walk,
you actually understand
get
it,
pressure so you can get the floor too.
No, you can't just say the baseline is the floor. The baseline is the thing that's being given. So the baseline has to be the boxes. Like that doesn't make sense. Like saying the baseline is the floor.
I'm saying because that's the minimum. You don't have to take it. Like you get 10 days.
But the baseline is the boxes, not the floor. It can't be the floor. It's what's given. The floor isn't given.
A universal basic.
No, because the man on the equity side is standing on the floor.
So wait. If you because
other
he doesn't need a box.
No.
Wait, because he does not need a box. What you are saying
Just
is that
like some people might not need 2 years.
Exactly. So the 2 years is not the baseline.
No. No.
Wait, stop.
It feels like Kay is,
one of you talk. Patty, go ahead. Get what you need to say, then I get back to
I
Kay.
was just saying, it feels like Kay is discussing something like UBI, where even Jeff Bezos, even if he does not need it, would get a basic income.
Do you agree with what he's saying? That's what he means.
Yep. I agree with
so
Kay.
Even Jeff Bezos will get the income.
Yeah.
The same income. And not you, Patty.
He'll get, oh, my bad.
Oh my God. Patty, you already spoke. You said it's like universal basic income where even Jeff Bezos will get the money. We get it. Kay, I'm asking, would you agree that that's what you're saying?
Everyone starts with the baseline.
The money.
Would Jeff Bezos go to the office and sign up for it? Probably not.
No. I don't. It's not what they would do. You're saying they would have.
That matters. Yes, he should have. Everyone is going to have access to the thing that is the baseline.
You see how that's equality. Everyone getting the same thing is equality.
But everyone's not going to end up with the same thing because some people
matter. It's equality. It doesn't matter if they go and get it. What you're describing is equality. If everyone gets the same thing, regardless of if they take it, that is equality.
No, because everyone's not going to have the same thing.
It doesn't matter if they don't have it. If the system you create is saying everyone gets the same thing, your system is predicated on a principle of equality, not equity, because it's not giving out based on what they need.
It's doing both.
But Themis, I get what you're saying. No, Themis, I get what you're saying. I really do, because since it's all the same, it's equal. I get that. But the thing that I'm saying, the reason I'm pushing back on that is because we're talking about a country with 300 something million people in it. If we're talking about however many are women and however many are going to have babies, these are millions of people. So when we're talking about millions of people that we have to address, there can be a baseline thing, and then the other things can be addressed, which would mean it would be equitable because the people that need more would get it, and the people that don't need as much don't have to take
That
it.
would require that the people who don't need it don't go for it. Your system is based on other people's behavior. Your system is equality. That is what your system is. It says if you want it, you can come get it, regardless of where you are standing economically. However, I'm going to hope that because you don't need it, you won't come get it. That is an equality principle.
But the thing is that, okay, it would be equality if this is all you can get. This is what you have, and this is all you can get. But
No,
the
no, no, no,
thing
no,
that
no,
makes
no,
it
no, no, no,
the
no,
thing
no,
that makes
no,
it
no, no.
the
Wait,
thing that
wait.
makes it equitable, Themis, is like the
We
picture you
keep
keep bringing up.
moving, and I want us
No,
to stay at the universal basic income,
the
UBI. Wait, the system, I ignore people's behavior, completely ignore it for now. You'll be able to bring it in. If we're talking about universal basic income, and you say everyone in America, this made up America, gets the same amount of money, that they can come and get it, isn't that saying it's equality?
Oh yeah, for
Okay,
universal
that's
basic income, yeah.
literally what it means.
Yeah,
That's what
but
I'm saying.
Themis, Petty just brought up that example. Yes, if everyone gets the
Oh,
same
no, no,
amount of,
no, no, no. Don't blame Patty, because I
no,
definitely
he
asked you if
did.
you agreed.
No, that is equal. Okay, maybe I misspoke, but yes, if everyone gets the exact same amount and there's no going up or down, yes, that's equality. Everyone got it equally. Everybody gets $5, whatever. But
I
I'm
don't think
saying, in terms of the example we've been using with the maternity leave, it's equitable because there's room for you to get what you need. Just because there's a baseline to start with doesn't mean it cannot be equitable ever, because you are getting to get what you need
Okay,
if
so,
you fit within that baseline. So
all
now
right,
it's equitable.
all right, let's just use Petty's example now. So it wouldn't be UBI, it would be based on what you need.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
If it's going to be equitable, yes, because some people need more and
All
some
right.
people need less.
But if you make it $10, I don't know, and I don't know what it would be.
Yeah.
You're saying even if you don't need that, you would have access to that.
You're trying to overlap the maternity leave
Yes.
situation with this one.
Yes.
Okay, I don't think they can overlap, but I'll try. If you're asking me if you said if they're equal or not equal, the amount.
So we would do the research, and then we'll have the basic UBI. And if you need more, you'll get more. And if you need less, you can still have access to the basic one. But
Okay. So again, when we're talking about large groups of millions and millions of people and needing to start somewhere, like feasible, like in order for it to be feasible, you're not going to knock on everyone's door and be like, how much money do you need, to every individual, right? So you start somewhere. Then from there, the thing that makes it go from equal, which it was everybody gets $2 or whatever, the thing that makes it go from equal to equitable is now, okay, this family needs $3. This family needs 50 cents. Like going up and down from there.
The family that need 50 cents, can the family that need 50 cents get $2?
Yeah.
That's not fair.
It's equitable because people who need more can get more.
It's not equitable. It's not. You realize how it's not equitable. If I only need if I only need, this is why the boxes were important. If I only need 50 cents, equitable means I can only get 50 cents. But in your system, even though I only need 50 cents, I can go up to $2, meaning I can get more than I need.
Yeah, you can get more than you need.
Exactly. So that would be equitable.
I still think it's equitable though, because everyone's not going to take it, if that makes sense. There will always be people, no matter what.
I want to agree with you, and I hope you're right on that. But
I get it. People are going to cheat the system. There are going to be people who take advantage of it. That's with anything from sick days to whatever anyone is providing. Anyone, anywhere, anything that is currently going on, there are people cheating or trying to cheat the system. I know that happens. I know that happens, but I still think that having a baseline doesn't make it so that now equity can't
Oh no,
be.
no, no, no. I love that, but that's not the principle of equity. And I agree with you, but I wouldn't call that equity. And you hopefully know that that wouldn't be like
Okay, so then
if you
in
only
that
need.
case,
Sorry, go ahead.
in that case, if we start from nothing, right? In any scenario, if we start from nothing, we're moving the baseline lower. Can
No, but
equity
no, no, no,
can
no, no,
equity
no, no, no,
come
no.
from
I
that situation?
appreciate. I am pro equity. I've
No,
only
I
had.
know you are. I know
All right,
you are.
good,
I'm
good.
not saying it like
No, I don't want them to drag me in the chat
no,
to
no,
think
no,
I'm
no.
like.
I know you're pro equity, but if we start from nothing, so there's another baseline, but now it's just lower. Can equity come from that situation?
I mean, it can be.
Because do you see how that's the same thing?
No, no. I see. I agree with you. By the way.
Because what you're saying basically makes it so equity cannot exist unless every individual gets their door knocked on.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not. It's not going to be perfect, but the
Exactly.
principle of what I'm asking you is that when you say there's going to be a standard, and then it will change based on need, it can still be equity if the need limits your access to the standard. So if you need more, you get more. You can decide not to take it. That's fine. But if you need less and you still take more to get up to the middle or to get to the standard, that is not equity, because that means that people who don't need can have access to more than what they don't need. And that is not equity. Like that's saying you have more resources than you need. That's not.
And I would say to that the person who is taking more than they need is not operating in an equitable way. They're
Oh yeah,
not.
yeah. But you would
But
require. But
but in
who
terms
gonna
of the
check me?
system,
Who gonna check me, boo? Who gonna check me?
in terms of the system though, I know equity can still exist because if it starts at 0 or if it starts at 5 or if it starts at 10, that's all the same thing. It's starting somewhere. So within wherever it starts, equity can occur. Now, is everyone going to operate equitably within this system? No.
Yeah,
No.
because the
Some
system
people-
fundamentally isn't about equity. It is about giving access in a way that isn't necessarily fair. Because if I don't need something and I can still get it when we're doing a needs based test, that's wild. Like, as I said, actually, it's not. Actually, I'm for, because I think I would prefer for people to be able to get more than people who need to get less, right?
Exactly.
So I'm for your system, but I don't call it equity.
What would you call it?
I don't know what I call it, but it ain't equity.
I think in our current dictionary, it's the best word to describe it. What other word would you use?
No,
Where
because
everyone gets
the
what
whole
they need.
point. This is why when I was talking, I was saying equity. What's given can't be the floor. It has to be the boxes. And you were saying everyone gets, at bare minimum, everyone gets a box, right? So that they can see over here. The
So
thing is,
then yes, because if you look at the equity side, the person in the middle has the box, but they have two. The other person got rid of their box. They don't have one. The other person got something different. So yes, the box. Okay, if you want to use the box instead of the ground, fine. But do you notice how when it goes from equality to equity, one person got rid of their box, one person has two boxes, and one person
yeah,
has something
but
bigger?
in your world, he doesn't have to get rid of his box. He can keep his box, even though he doesn't need it.
And then he wouldn't be operating in the system the way that he should
It
be.
doesn't matter because you're not going
No,
to check
no.
him.
Again, I know that people are going to cheat systems, but if we're talking about a system that's going to work as best it can for millions of people, what else can happen?
Someone said we should call it charity. No, I'm with you. By the way, I'm not like I fundamentally appreciate your framework, and I'm more in alignment with your framework than not. But I don't. It's not equity, right?
What is it?
A charity. It
Oh
is a handout. It is pulling yourself up by the no.
no.
I think the idea that everyone gets the same is equality, and then there's equality with exception. And the problem with equality, which the second part of my argument is that equality itself isn't necessarily fair, because giving everyone the same thing, there are people who need more and there are people who need less. So the same doesn't actually address the problem. But we need to own that we're looking to a specific outcome. And that's how we're addressing issues, because we want a specific outcome. Now, I don't want us to admit that publicly because we're going to get dragged for it. But I think that it's fundamentally like a lie to say we don't look at the outcomes and to say we care fundamentally about equity. We just want our just dues. So yeah, that.
Huh. Huh. I think we should continue this conversation in a different font next week.
Yeah.
Not the same conversation, but the same philosophical vibe. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, Petty said he don't want these kind of conversation. You were shining in this one, so I understand.
Look, I know what's fair and what's not fair. And a wise man once said that sometimes Diddy wants to party and you got to say no. Have you seen the stuff going on with P. Diddy lately? Wow. It's getting crazy out here.
You look at this transition.
I was trying to stay away from it for now. The thing is, like, I don't actually think we know what's fear and not fear. I think we kind of struggle through ideas of fairness and we don't actually know what it means. And we think we have an innate knowing about morality and we don't know what it is. And maybe because I'm questioning myself so much that I want other people to question themselves, but it's not a comfortable place to be. And that's why I'm like asking so many questions.
I think you're right about, like, it for a large group, it's hard to determine what's fair. You don't know the people, you're just guessing. Like it's just almost impossible. So when I was just thinking of it, when we were talking about it, a few minutes ago, it's what would be the best thing that could be done in that situation. And I always think it's better for people who don't need something to have extra than it is for people who need something not to have what they need.
Oh yeah, fully
So,
agree.
like, if you are taking advantage of these extra $2, go ahead. At least the people who needed that $2 are gonna get it. So, like, that's my mindset when it comes to things like this, because it can't be perfect, because there's no way to make it perfect in our current world. But the least harm, like, I think there's less harm from someone getting too much than there is from someone getting too little.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's why, like, I generally like oppose things like the death penalty, because like the ability to get it wrong is like wild to me. It's like the system admitting there's no white privilege as there are poor white people, but admitting that there are black disadvantaged so we don't feel crazy when economic mobility seems hard. Yeah. One more. This wouldn't be achievable because in order for equity to be attained, somebody may have to sacrifice something. The box was a real example. Yeah, the box was a real example. Thank you.
That picture was in my head like the whole time we were having that conversation. I knew you were going to bring it up.
I mean, I used to like it a lot. Now I hate the picture. No, because it highlights something fun. No one really. I probably shouldn't be talking about this publicly because no one has ever dragged that picture in the way that I think it's wrong. So I need to.
You should do a whole live on dragging that. Make it go viral.
No. Is it really charity though, or is is it back pay for service previously rendered? Right? The invoice is 160 years past due, fifth and final notice in red. Period. Period. Oh, I don't care about any equity and equality. Just give people what you owe them when it comes to reparations. I'm with you completely, Mia. All right, we'll go into the after show. Close your ears. So we weren't supposed to actually finish that. I'm not going to play it. And this is a husband and wife, I think, and they were talking about what women want and equality and whether or not it's going to be fair in a relationship. And I was going to go down that road about relationship, but when Kay started talking, I thought Kay had a more interesting I think he had a more interesting take on it, and so I decided to stay out of relationship because I got tired of relationships.
You know what's an interesting take? So people are calling this man. I'm not sure if you've ever seen this man before, but they're saying that this man is a thirst trap. They're saying it's a whole thirst trap, and they're saying, "Look, hear me out." I know they're saying, "Hear me out," and I'm not hearing them out. So that's what's been going on.
Your lunch is ready.
In my life lately. Since we're on the topic of fairness, equity, and equality, I'm sure I've told you this story before. As a matter of fact, I know I did. But growing up, growing up, I was very I was very poor growing up. And
Is it the flipper when the person in the car walk and your shoe has a hole in the bottom?
Yes.
All right, tell your story.
I was very poor growing up. I remember after graduating, I had to work at McDonald's for years. And I remember I used to wear this old pair of shoes, and I couldn't afford a car, so I'd have to walk to work every day, 5 miles back and forth. And eventually, my shoes were so worn that the sole began actually peeling off, and it would flap on the ground. Every time I would walk anywhere, you just hear that flapping on the ground. And I remember one day I was walking, and my friend passed by me. We were best friends in high school. This man literally passed by me in some amazing car. I think it was like a Corvette or a Lamborghini or something. He said, "How have you been?" You could obviously see from my demeanor that I had not been good. And that's what I told him. And he watched me walk for a little bit and saw my shoes flapping on the ground. And he pulled up beside me and he pulled out this wad of cash. It was one of the biggest wads of cash I've ever seen in my life. It had to be thousands of dollars in it. And he took the rubber band off of this wad of cash and he threw it at my feet and said, "Use that to keep your shoes together." And then he sped off. And I remember that day because that taught me about equity. He didn't give that rubber band to anyone else but me. I was the only person whose shoes was like that. Some people were jealous. Why don't I get a rubber band for my shoes? Because your shoes aren't flapping. So yeah, I know a little something about equity. I've defined my morals. They haven't been defined for me.
Well, thank you. That was an interesting story that we definitely listened to all of it.
Here's my impression of I just won the next presidential election. My fellow Americans, as your president, I'm going to change the national bird from the bald eagle to the fried chicken.
What?
Wait, I want you to hear this. Tell me what you think. I'm going to quickly play part of it. You don't have to stay, but I want to hear your thoughts of what we were going to talk about. I feel bad. Since it's on the thumbnail, we need to give it at least 2 seconds.
People are gonna stop believing the thumbnail soon.
You discussed what men want. It only makes sense for us to discuss this week what women want.
Okay.
That makes sense, right? Okay, so wifey, from our practice and the clients that you've been hearing from, and from the many, many conversations you've had with your female friends and cousins and so forth, what is it that women want?
What women want in a man is really just integrity, honesty, transparency, love, obviously. I would say those are the main things that women are looking for.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. I think pretty much anyone, those are qualities that anyone would want, I'm assuming, in any friend who you really call a friend, right? I would say. Okay, now in regards to marriage, what are the things that women are telling you that they're looking for and they want?
I think for the most part, women want to feel like an equal in her marriage.
Okay.
And that includes even when she says she wants a provider, protector, leader, she still wants to feel like there's equality in her marriage.
Got it. So for the most part, is it the typical answer, provider, protector, leader? That's what you hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so when they mention equal, can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by equal? Because a lot of men will say, well, you want equality, that means you pay the bills equally, you do this equally, you do that equally. But what do they mean by that?
Yeah, for the most part, what it means is having a partnership where each partner's role or responsibilities is based on what each partner is best at. So that's where the equal comes from. The equal doesn't mean we do the exact same things. It means that we both partners' strengths are recognized and honored within the marriage. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, when you and a lot of your female cousins grew up, remember we had this dispute early on in our relationship about, well, I was like, well, it's a man's job to throw away the trash, and you were kind of like, not necessarily, because you throw out the trash, you cut the grass, and the majority of the people in your family were women, right? And so you saw women laying tile down and all types of painting and everything else, right? Things that traditionally men do.
Yeah.
So I was at the time spring chicken, whatever.
It gets a little bit more interesting, but we don't got the time. It gets a little bit more interesting because he got like, what does equality mean? And it gets into pay and like why women should date, and see them adding their money to a man's money as sort of seeing it as more. So if she makes 90,000, she should date a man who makes 60,000 because it's like way more. Like it was a lot of things happening. So I decided not to get into it. I was going to ask about equality for women in the context of a relationship. If any of y'all want to just like wing it on that, you can, and then we can go.
Yeah, you shouldn't date someone if they will bring your average net worth down. So it's probably not a good suggestion for women to date men who would bring your average net worth down, or your average income down, or your average education down. So
wouldn't it just be up naturally unless you're in the negative? That would mean you can date anyone.
Or average, like if I make 90,000 and my partner makes 10,000, our average is now like 50 or something. I don't know. I'm not doing the math right now.
Are you dividing it by 2, or are you saying it's?
I'm dividing it by 2. I'm getting the average. So,
gotcha, yeah. So it has to be the same or above.
If I can't go to the financial office, I don't know where rich people go, and say to the finance people, my average net worth has increased or stayed the same after getting with my partner, I would feel stupid. So
yeah, but you wouldn't say your average net worth. You would just say your net worth,
or average or something.
You wouldn't say average at all.
I would absolutely say that. I recommend more women say that. My average education decreased after I got with this man. Now I'm somewhere between a high school diploma and a college diploma. Whatever that average is, I'm at an associate. I have brought down the collective. That's maybe a better word. Our collective education has gone down. Nah, that's not it. I feel like average is a better word.
I think people just say my net worth.
My net worth has declined. Well, no.
It hasn't. With someone else,
it goes up negligibly.
Okay, so is that a problem going up negligibly?
Look, I'm going with average because we took these two people, added them together, and divided it by the relationship. Our average net worth is.
I mean, I'm with you. Well, no, I'm not with you. I think people should do what they want, but I understand what you're saying.
People shouldn't do what they want. People are silly. They need to be controlled. I tried to tell y'all this earlier. Sometimes you gotta imagine if I can't say that publicly. Never mind. I can't say my thoughts.
But when has publicly ever stopped you from saying something?
I value my job. My boss watches. He's like, "What is IDGAB?" I was like, "Okay, I'm not about to explain this long thing. You don't know
So
what."
you think there's a way to do an average intelligence? So if she has a
Yes.
PhD and he doesn't have a high school diploma, you think that brings it down?
Yes, absolutely. It's like if you have water. Have you ever drinking filtered water versus regular sink water?
Mhm. I don't drink sink water, but I have, yes.
When you add these minerals to the water, the quality declines. Well, it depends. There are some mineral water that's healthy or whatever, but like the sink, the copper rust on the
I
inside of it,
agree.
that's not adding to the so you would ideally want 2 cups of water that you pour into each other, not one that has some stuff in the bottom of it, right? Sitting in the bottom, floating around when you shake it up. It doesn't dissolve. No, you don't want that. It's not what you want.
So in this scenario, the woman is the clean cup of water.
Yep. If whoever has the highest education or
So you
finance,
don't think men should date women with lower education?
no, date your equal.
Period. And that's the feminist way.
Yeah.
You agree, Kay? This is the conversation Kay don't like. Kay was on fire for the other conversation. Kay is like, I'm tired of this gender war foolishness. I actually think mine looks so good. That is
Can
not
you
you.
that Petty?
Huh?
Keep it. I really want that as my profile picture on social media. Can
But
you take a picture of it and text it to me?
wait, who is that at the bottom though? I see Kay, I see me, but I don't know who that is at the bottom. That is an Asian man at the bottom.
What makes him Asian? Point it out specifically.
I don't know. It gives me Asian or white.
You should always know the specifics of your beliefs.
I know
wise
don't know
man
the
once said.
specifics. Just like you, I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj is getting sued again, her and Kenneth Petty, for some assault and stuff back in the day. So some more stuff coming their way.
There is a deficit in our marriage that did not exist before this union.
Yeah, thank you.
Chun-Li Petty. I believe in equality in relationships. I give each man I date an equal opportunity to end up on my block list. See, period. All right. Thank you both. I'm gonna private this live stream. I'm kidding. No. So Petty, what was wrong today with you? I'm kidding. All right. Do you have any final thoughts?
Just waiting for you to post this live stream so I can get my IDGAB clips. IDGAB clips.
I like how you say IDGAB. I like how you say IDGAB.
These people in the audience don't even know what IDGAB stands for. I was so upset. How are you on episode 27? Don't know what IDGAB means. Just watching.
It feels like we are far beyond 27.
It has to be. It has to be 27. No way.
So, all right. Next week is going to be Petty's show, apparently.
All right.
I'm not joking, because apparently I'm terrible at these. I'm kidding. Let me stop. I actually enjoyed it. I love talking to Kay about philosophy.
Yeah, I enjoyed philosophizing as well.
All right.
Let's make it into a whole philosophy and singing podcast. Like I like.
No, absolutely not, because the election is coming up. The election is coming up, and I've been waiting. We're in an election year. I've been waiting for this.
Yes.
This is what this podcast is about, the national election. I don't care about the local. I'm kidding. Kay Cook tonight. Petty brought back the drawing board, and team has kept us on our toes. Great job, panel. Thank you. She did go in. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.